This episode of the Big Damn Cast is rated L for lots of bloody swearing. Enjoy!
No, imagine that laughter, but remade in live action.
It'll make $1 bajillion.
All of the money.
All of the money. Can we put Will Smith in it?
No.
Oh, please.
But maybe.
Oh.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the Big Damn Cast here on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Pop culture podcast all about nerdy news, geeky gossip, and stuff to keep your brain occupied until we all shuffle off this mortal coil.
Pushed.
Yeah. That is also a possibility. I am Chris. Whoever has the gold makes the rules. Johnson.
And I am Matthew Street Rat Watson.
I don't buy that.
But I thought you had all the gold and made all the rules.
That's very true.
So you can afford to buy it. Yes.
Why are we quoting Aladdin? We just felt like it. But also, we've seen the live-action 2019 remake of the Walt Disney
Aladdin
classic.
2019.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
Yeah.
If you want to know what we thought about it, spoiler-filled, of course, stick around because we'll be talking about it later in the podcast. Also, the main topic of the day is Walt Disney Animation Pictures. Which is the best? What do we all think? What are your faves? You've been getting in touch a lot to let us know. So we're going to be going through all of your emails and tweets at the same time whilst we try to deliberate what is the greatest of the animated Walt Disney canon.
And also try and keep our fingers out of this dog's mouth.
Yeah, Minnie's on the offensive today. But you know what else was on the offensive?
What?
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor!
Or as it's correctly pronounced, Sarah Connor.
She's going hunting. She's a hunter.
A Terminator. It doesn't work.
Terminator.
Terminator 3-2. The
Terminator.
Dark Fate came out with a trailer this week.
Terminator. No, it's not. It's Terminator 2-3.
Oh, right. Wait, what?
Terminator 2-2.
Terminator 2.5.
Terminator 4?
Lion King 1.5.
Terminator Cubed.
That'd be a great title. But they don't go for that. So this is the new Terminator movie coming out this November.
Terminator 6.
Yeah, well.
Well.
Terminator 3, because it's pretending that Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis never happened. Much in the way... Actually, yeah. Genesis pretends that Salvation never happened.
I guess.
Yeah, we were talking about this before we recorded, that not many film series, but an increasing number, have started making films that discount or ignore previous entries completely. So, Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 project was apparently going to ignore Resurrection. And quite possibly Alien 3, yeah. We've had it with Halloween. Halloween did it twice. Once within the original run and with the 2018 version, forgetting that all the sequels existed. We've had it with... what was the other one that hit us like a ton of bricks? Superman. Superman Returns, pretend Superman 3.
That might have been the first one. No.
Recipes.
Halloween did it first.
TMNT is a backdoor fourth film in the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise.
What?
Yeah, but pretends that the events of those movies didn't necessarily happen as is. The giveaway is the trophy room at the end. When you see Splinter putting the thingy from the King's helmet or whatever in there is stuff from the villains and characters from the previous 3 movies. Yeah, so that's also why the Foot are all about Shredder is returning. Because, yeah, but the thing is you have to suspend your disbelief that Shredder's returning because Shredder got killed in, like, crushing, staggering amounts of weight being put on him or, like, crushing machines twice. So you kind of have to be like, yeah, whatever. But this film is a third Terminator set 20-ish years after the events of T2.
However many years it's been since Terminator 2, that's how many it's been since...
T2's set in 97, isn't it?
No, I think it's set in 91.
Is it?
Yeah. Judgment Day is supposed to happen in 97.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. So T2 is... Oh my god, technically then, this is the 4th film, if you count Terminator 2, The Ride.
Terminator
which was
2
a film.
Battle Through Time.
Yeah, oh.
Or whatever it's called.
Something like that.
It's
Something
on-
about stuff.
It's on Edward Furlong's IMDb, because I had to look up his IMDb, because I thought he was dead.
There's a T1 million in it, which is a giant Matrix-like squid thing.
Wow.
And it's in 3D! Or it was
Wow.
until the Transformers ride replaced it in California, and nothing so far has replaced it in Florida, except they have still closed it. But all that aside,
Boo.
I think this trailer says nothing much other than, hey, look at our bona fides. Producer James Cameron returns as the graphic slowly reveals, almost as though they're saying, yeah, those last two, forget those. Forget those guys. Forget them. In fact, forget the third one while you're at it.
I think this film is making a very big statement about women in vest tops.
Yeah. Vest top sales. If this film is a success, vest top sales are going to go through the roof, especially for the over 60s with beefy arms.
Tough looking women in vest tops.
Yeah. Because Linda Hamilton is back.
She is back.
For the first time since the Terminator ride.
She's
as
back.
Sarah Connor.
For the first time since the last time.
Which is great, and again is continuing the sort of tradition of the horror heroines of the 80s coming back in force.
But also, what was the last thing Linda Hamilton was in?
Dead?
She's not been in... Oh!
She's in a Terminator film, so
Fuck
probably...
me!
Here's the thing, we all talk about Terminator like it's a prestigious franchise, but it's not. It's 2 good films and that's it.
Yeah.
That is it. That is all Terminator is.
Oh, she has been doing stuff pretty steadily. Not very much.
Met her at a convention once. She was great.
She's in a film called Bermuda Tentacles.
Shut up.
When Air Force One goes down over the Bermuda Triangle, the Navy sends its best rescue team. But in saving the president, the team awakens a monster which threatens America's entire eastern seaboard and ultimately the world.
Is it a giant squid?
I would imagine so. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find a copy of Bermuda Tentacles. Fuck me.
With tentacles. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Wow.
Linda Hamilton's back. That's the main selling point for me. Arnie's in it.
But Arnie's been in them all.
That's not the selling point for me anymore, yeah. Because he made a CGI cameo in Salvation.
Yeah.
He flat out plays 2 Terminator characters, I remember rightly, in Genesis. Like a younger one and the older model.
Yeah. Again, with CGI helping him recreate his young...
Which apparently is in this as well.
Appearance.
Oh, yeah, because the time travel stuff as well, isn't it? In Genesis. But...
Yeah.
Are you excited from this trailer?
I don't know if
I feel like I don't give a shit about the Terminator franchise.
I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm not like... I'm looking at him going, oh yeah, this could be alright.
I mean, it looks like we have a Terminator assassin going after someone, standard.
Yeah.
We have a Terminator, or at least augmented character protecting them, standard. Since the second one, I guess, because that's basically the formula of the first one, but with robots, added robots. But it looks like the Terminator that's been sent to kill the person this time is an exoskeleton, sorry, an endoskeleton, whatever it's called, with a liquid Terminator extension, like covering.
That was what Christina Logan was in Terminator 3.
Was that what she was?
Yeah.
Well, it's just more of the same then.
The TX.
More of this. Oh yeah, because they wanted to see a Terminator endoskeleton that had curves, yo.
Yeah, the Terminatrix.
Oh god, just good on her. She probably earned a lot from that film, but still.
Yeah, and then she did 2 Blood Rain films with Uwe Boll. Well, hey, work is work. I'd take it.
Uwe Boll.
I'd be a great Blood Rain. You just imagine me in skin-tight leather with a revealing cleavage and bladed tonfas.
Why do I need to imagine? That's how you dress for this recording.
Oh, yes.
Oh, matey.
I know, but I need to paint a picture for the listeners.
Paint a picture of your thoughts of Terminator Dark Fate, because my thoughts so far are just... Yeah.
Looks like it might be alright.
Yeah. Tim Miller directing. So, hopefully it'll be a decent action flick. It's tough to know, because when Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds apparently parted ways in the pre-production of Deadpool 2 due to creative differences, we were all like, oh shit. And then Deadpool 2 came out and was pretty damn great. It's like, oh, was Tim Miller...
I don't know, I'm still a bit sour on Deadpool 2.
Really? That's just because you're straight shirt cocking it. That's why.
Most of the time.
Nah, it's because you're disappointed they killed off Peter.
Oh, Peter. Sweet
He
Peter.
survived in the mid-credits.
Sweet Peter.
He survived in the mid-credits.
Too good for this world!
What else is too good for this world?
What?
Any other news? Because not much happened this
I
week.
can't even bother talking about any of it.
Sod it! We want to talk about happiness!
We've got too many emails and tweets to talk about.
Here's the thing, folks. Disney. We've talked about Disney before on this podcast, mostly due to movie news and stuff about conglomerates and monopolies, and it's never necessarily been good stuff because we tend to talk about Disney as the business.
The business.
We're not fans of monopolies. We don't think thousands of people should lose their jobs due to acquisitions that aren't necessary except for the capitalist growth of one company. And we also don't agree with the fact that means there's going to be less movies released a year from different voices and filmmakers.
Yeah, that's not good.
However, as fans of films, I think we could probably undeniably agree, we tend to be pretty big fans of 90% of the output Disney has made
Film fans.
over the years. As a company, as its subsidiaries like Touchstone and Miramax and all that. Like, we've had, so even Minnie agrees with the squeeze toy, we've had a damn good time with the films made by or distributed by Disney. And as such, and of course as the Aladdin remake has come out this past week, we thought, why not take the time to dive right backwards, sir, into the wealth of Walt Disney Motion Pictures and discuss what our favourites are, what our least favourites are, favourite songs, favourite characters, favourite annoying forced-in sidekick post-Robin Williams.
Don't know what you mean.
And to keep it simple, we're going to focus on what is known as Walt Disney Pictures, which is specifically Walt Disney Animation Studios, Walt Disney Pictures.
The animated canon is...
Yeah, the main animated studio in Burbank. So these are the 56? I think it's 56. We're going off the American numbering, so there's one additional in America to the UK numbering. 57 films.
57.
As of Ralph Breaks the Internet. 57 Walt Disney movies.
I completely forgot about Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah, well, see, Ralph feels like a Pixar, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to forget which films are the current Walt Disney Pictures movies because they're all CG now.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a shame in a way, but that doesn't mean that there aren't diamonds in that rough. So before we go on to talk about Aladdin later on, check the time codes for that filth.
Check the Tim codes.
Boughs of Holly.
Yay.
We're also going to be sporadically reading out your emails and tweets about Disney as well as we go. Matt's on the emails, I'm on the tweets. Let's start by just ploughing through some dank-ass shit. So.
Dank memes. No memes, please.
The first film released by Walt Disney Animation Studios in
Yes. 1937
is, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When was the last time you watched that?
1957.
Oh my god, that's impressive. on its 20th anniversary re-release. Beautifully done. I've not watched it for a donkey's age.
I don't remember the last time I watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
I purposely had to avoid it last year because I was writing Snow White, the pantomime.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I had to
yeah.
avoid the Disney one and having it in my mind for specifics because Disney are litigious as all hell when it comes to adaptations.
Well, yeah, you can't use their dwarf names, can you?
No. Well, when it comes to adaptations of works that they either created or are best known for versions of, they are very litigious.
Yeah. They're always careful to include original elements that are easily trademarkable, so that if you try and adapt a story that's public domain that they've done a version of, then you have to be very careful not to use those elements, which tend to be the most recognisable elements of that adaptation, and therefore are associated with it even beyond Disney.
Yeah. But, which is interesting, because so many of their animated canon and biggest name pictures are adaptations.
Yeah.
Sometimes of literative works, not just folk tales.
I think it was early on, it was the case that, and it was good old Walt legitimising animation as a feature-length format.
Yeah. Oh, well,
and
Snow White and
using
Seven
well-known
Dwarfs,
stories.
the first animated feature-length thing to exist.
Using well-known stories was probably a way to do that.
Yeah, the Brothers Grimm's fairy tale, of course. This one, I remember as a kid, this was one of my lesser favourites. I think just because Snow White, just because of as I was growing up, like, we grew up during the Disney Renaissance, which began sort of unofficially with Rescuers Down Under. Unofficially Rescuers Oliver and Company, officially with The Little Mermaid and Rescuers Down Under, and carried on through till Tarzan, which is sort of deemed like the end of the Renaissance.
Rescuers Down Under is pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty damn solid. And again, it's the Iron Man 2 of the Disney Renaissance. Like,
Yeah.
it's good enough to carry it over before they hit you with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
It's like, yes! But Snow White was sort of, because of that, we grew up to the Renaissance, that was the style I was into. So Snow White was sort of my lesser visited of the classics as a kid. But you can't deny its impact on popular culture and animation. And also, holy shit, Evil Queen's pretty damn scary. Like, she's the first proper freaky Disney villain. What does she rate on your Disney villain scale? I mean, she's an evil queen who's obsessed with beauty. She disguises herself as a terrifying hag and tries to poison a lady just because she's like, you're fitter than me, I'm going to poison you.
Yeah, but by virtue of Snow White being so low down my go-to Disney films, I can't think she rates very highly because I just don't think about her.
She also has one of the sort of most... Because Disney villain deaths are great, and we'll talk about that as well.
It's got an entire TV tropes page to itself.
Yeah, well, she gets killed by a boulder that's dropped from the cliff face by lightning. I mean, that's how you go out, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's one way.
The second Walt Disney animated was Pinocchio.
Now, Pinocchio was... I have more memories of.
Pinocchio's dark as hell.
Yeah.
Also based on a book based on the Adventures of Pinocchio by
Yes,
Carlo
Collodi.
Collodi.
Everyone remembers that.
Oh, it's horrible. All the stuff on Pleasure Island is horrific.
Yeah.
The transformation to a donkey, the Monstro stuff, being in the whale.
Yeah.
It's freaky, but again, it introduces the idea of like the charming mascot of the film sidekick with Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
Some beautiful visuals from the Blue Fairy. The way the Blue Fairy's animated is gorgeous. Geppetto is a proper lovely sort of like caricature, you know, a silhouette for these characters. This is when they started to really create. I think the dwarves definitely had it, but they create distinct silhouettes. One thing you can say about Walt Disney Animation characters is you could just show us their silhouette. You could go, oh my god, that's such a body.
Yeah,
like they all have such distinct designs and shapes.
Absolutely.
Songs as well. I got no strings to hold me down, make me fret, or make me frown. I had strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on me. Ultron, 2015. You know what? I want to revisit it. I've not seen it in years. I remember it freaking me out.
I've not seen a lot of these in years. Watching Disney films is not something I get to do very often.
Well,
so I don't have a lot of them.
Well, earlier on we were talking about them and you said this one doesn't count as a Disney film or as a film. But I beg to differ, sir. It's a cultural experience. The third film is Fantasia.
It's a music video.
It's the first music video.
It's a fucking music video.
It's an operetta.
It's not a film.
It's an operetta.
Yeah.
Full of so many different sequences, but most notably, of course, is the Sorcerer's Apprentice sequence in the middle with Mickey and Yensid, the great wizard Yensid. And the brooms.
He's not named Yensid in that, though.
No.
He's only named Yensid in Kingdom Hearts.
I thought he was named Yensid afterwards. Like, whenever they spoke of the character in official media, they referred to him as Yensid.
Yeah, but that started with Kingdom Hearts.
Really? What a weird thought that he didn't have a name for like 70 years.
I think.
If that's the case, that is a long time to get a name.
I'm going to look it up while you talk us through a Disney classic that actually matters as shit.
Alright. Really? You know what the next one is, right?
No.
Dumbo.
Oh, skip it.
I think Dumbo is beautifully animated, but it was never one of my faves as a kid. Although I do admire the balls on them for the Pink Elephants on Parade sequence in hindsight. That's pretty ballsy. Your main character and his talking mouse friend get absolutely bladdered and hallucinate. Okay, fair enough. Although some pretty bad aged depictions of certain stereotypes and racial observations, but whatevs. It's pretty beautiful, and it's based on Dumbo the Flying Elephant, the American roller book by Helen Aberson. Next one's Bambi. We're sticking with the talking animals, mate. This again is visually beautiful, based on the Australian novel by Felix Salten, Bambi: A Life in the Woods.
Oh yes. Oh no, Yensid, by the way, was it was a name given to him when he was originally animated, but it didn't appear in ancillary media for a while.
Ah, meats.
But yes, Bambi.
Yeah, the film where the villain is man. This is the film that broke 1,000 hearts and continues to do so to this day, isn't it? Like with the opening sequence, this is sort of seen as the go-to film in all of popular culture for. Oh God, yeah, that's the childhood film that scarred me, and I don't blame him. Like, especially if you're a little kid.
It's important. It's a big thing, man.
It's biggie. No, not till Transformers the movie did another film even do it on that level.
Also, you can call me Flower if you want to.
There's a thing in Walt Disney Studios in Paris, Disneyland Paris, the second park, where you can look at animation, and there's a bit where you can dub scenes. So teaching you about voice acting, and it's short sequences, and the lines come up, and you can do it in your own voice, and then you play it back and you watch it. And one of them is that sequence. I remember in 2005, 2006, me and my dad were there, and we dubbed that scene, and we just gave like Flower the most gruff, horrible voice we could think of. You can call me Flower. You can call me Flower if you want to. It's really freaky. Also, Thumper, the sidekicks are in full force by this point. Saludos Amigos, I've never seen. That is...
What the fuck is that?
This, my friend, is Saludos Amigos. Recognise someone?
Oh, that's Donald!
Little Donald Duke! The second of the Disney characters to appear in one of the big films. Saludos Amigos is a musical celebration that is completely an original. Spanish for greetings, friends. It's made up of 4 different segments. Donald Duck stars in 2 of them. Goofy stars in 1. It features the first appearance of Jose Carioca, the Brazilian cigar-smoking parrot.
Okay, yeah.
And Walt Disney decided to make another film about Latin America, The Three Caballeros, to be produced 2 years later. At 42 minutes, it's the shortest of the Animation Studios canon.
What's Saludos Amigos?
Yeah. And technically it's just 4 shorts, basically. 2 years later, The Three Caballeros was the follow-up, which again features your boy Don.
Don't see them on DVD very often, do you?
These have, as far as I'm aware, these have not had a commercial release for decades.
Why are they in the canon then?
Outside of the upcoming massive box set that is on its way, which may also contain some of the more controversial releases as well.
Oh, yes. Of course.
But yeah, the film is plotted as a series of self-contained segments strung together by the device of Donald Duck opening birthday gifts from his Latin American friends. Several Latin American stars of the period appear throughout. The film was produced as part of the studio's goodwill message for South America. So it's a mixture of animation, live action, and a bunch of other stuff. But it's in there. It's in the canon. The next one, you already, Matt, here's a well-known one that you've definitely heard of.
Yeah.
Make Mine Music.
What?
Make Mine Music is, as you can imagine, another series of shorts and concert films. But
you'll have WiiWare game.
You'll have definitely seen a section of it at some point, whether you realise it or not. You'll have seen it either as a clip or you'll have seen it in a whole, because the Peter and the Wolf section...
Oh, fuck me!
Yeah, has been featured in like Disney specials, Disney afternoons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so at this point they're focusing more on creating... they're creating whole pieces that are
Minnie!
contained as compilations.
There we go.
Not to be confused with Minnie Mouse, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Speaking of Minnie and Mickey Mouse, the next film is fun and fancy free. Again, segments, and you're thinking, what? But
So what
have
you're
you
telling
seen,
me is that a good chunk of the Disney canon are not actually films?
No, but have you seen Mickey and the Beanstalk?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Have you seen Mickey and the
No!
Beanstalk? I saw Mickey and the Beanstalk. That is part of that one. That got out in the 90s. The 90s, they released a lot of Mickey shorts on VHS, that like sort of 20-minute films that, turns out, were segments from these films. So parts of them have been released.
I think we
time.
can skip those then.
Well, then you don't want to talk about Melody Time?
No! I don't want to talk about melody time. Not a film! It's a music video!
The Legend of Johnny Appleseed and all of its
No!
other shorts. Alright. Well, what about probably the most well-known from that period in terms of modern sort of recollection? The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Which, again, is 2 shorts.
It's Winnie the Willows and Sleepy Hollow, but
yes, but usually distributed on their own as part of compilations or event nights on broadcasting, but they were released as a double bill.
I never seen those. Remember seeing back when the Morrisons up by the precinct was a Safeway.
Yes! Oh my god!
I remember that they had a bunch of Disney read-along books and tapes, and one of them was
Ichabod.
Ichabod.
Yeah. their
Whatever that
Sleepy
one was
Hollow
called.
section.
Yeah.
I think they referred to it as the Adventures of Ichabod in every iteration, even though it should just be Sleepy Hollow. But yeah.
Yes.
Are you ready to move on to the big boys?
Oh, please, for the love of Christ.
Beautiful.
Can we leave the musical compilations behind and never speak of them again?
Maybe.
Okay.
I shall not say if there are any more.
No, there's definitely
Number
more.
12 is Cinderella, released in 1950, based obviously on the French fairy tale by Charles Perrault.
This shit's classic. What more can you say?
It's beautiful. It's stunning, and has had probably more re-releases than any other Disney movie. 1957 was its second release, 65, 73, 81 and 87.
I think that's the thing. It's
Cinematic runs.
It's
timeless.
I think most people really think of this as the first proper Disney film.
Yeah. And it's because it's the archetype. A lot of the tropes start here. The Disney princess.
Yeah, that's where the formula sort of came in.
The boo-hiss specific villain or villains.
Yeah.
The gorgeously animated set pieces in dazzling technicolor. I mean, the entire Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo sequence is stunning.
Yeah.
It's so good. Your animal sidekicks are in full force now because we've got human characters. So you've got Gus Gus and all the little mice and everybody running around. The cat, can you remember what, because the villain of this is Lady Tremaine and her daughters Anastasia and Drizella. Can you remember what the cat is called?
Doug Naylor.
Very funny. No, the cat you bugger. The cat is Lucifer.
Oh.
Yeah. And is voiced, so the noises the cat makes, is June Foray. Yeah.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, freaking Rocky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the voice of Lucifer the cat, which I never
Sure,
knew.
why the fuck not?
Cinderella's beautiful, and it's known, I think it's still thought of a lot, especially in the UK, because obviously Cinderella's adapted for pantomimes.
Oh,
and,
yeah. It's probably the
and
most common
family
theatres.
theatres. Family theatre shows. So, Cinderella has definitely stood.
It's
stood
almost the
time.
go-to fairy tale.
Yeah, it is also
It's not as dark as the grim stuff, but it's
the dark
structurally
stuff's very human.
Yeah.
It's not a sinister force. It's horrible people.
Yeah.
But also it's got one of the more aged things of oh right, she meets a prince and then he falls in love with her because she's fit and that's it. And he so superficially only recognises her because of the shoe fit. Yeah, it's a fairy tale. These are stories meant to be told to very young children to entertain and educate them a bit. And as you get older, you look on them with fondness because you remember how they made you feel as a child.
Yeah.
If you're overanalyzing it, Keira Knightley, then shut the fuck up.
What?
Keira Knightley does not let her children see any Disney movies prior to the 90s stuff, and even then she's got a problem with some of the 90s stuff.
Sure.
Because she doesn't think it should teach them, about how love shouldn't work that way, and it's don't let the movies teach your kids, Kira. You should know that. You work in films. They're not educational tools first and foremost.
Yeah, let her get on with it. Let her do what she wants.
Kristen Bell does it as well, apparently. She's got the same beef.
Eh.
Didn't she play a character who falls in love with someone immediately, and that's the whole point? That's their character's biggest flaw?
Listen. Dax shows them in secret.
All right. Number 13.
Yes.
Would be a terrible place to leave it before we go on to the first round of emails, but it will be, because why not? Alice in Wonderland, 1951. Trippy as shit, and less creepy than Lewis Carroll.
I kind of like this.
Alice in Wonderland is based on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, both written by Lewis Carroll. And holy shit, this one is a cultural touchstone.
This is one of those, if you think of Alice in Wonderland, there is almost no other version of it that you will think of before this one.
Oh god, yeah.
It is the version of Alice in Wonderland.
You say Queen of Hearts to me and I see the big toady mouth, loud, aggressive, frightening character from
the
this.
caterpillar, the Cheshire Cat, all those visuals.
Sterling Holloway's the Cheshire Cat is brilliant casting. Proper spooky, whimsical voice.
The Hatter and
comes
Alice
up,
herself.
As you probably noticed in Disney Files, Sterling Holloway comes up a lot in the next decade's worth of Disney movies. But yeah, the Mad Hatter and the March Hare. amazing. Alice, beautifully done. At this point, rotoscoping's still being used, so they're still using visual references for these films.
Yes.
Which a lot of animators use, but Disney would sort of film and stage whole sequences, and the animators would sit there and draw it as reference. They'd film it and watch it back, and a lot of those movements would be in there. And at this point as well, a lot of the actors, the voice actors for the parts, would be the visual reference as well, which is amazing when you think about it, isn't it? Like they would but like the voice actor themselves would stand in as the what's it? There's footage of Ed Wynn doing the Mad Hatter.
It's almost a precursor to modern motion capture, really.
Yeah,
which ironically isn't actually used that much in
traditional
Disney
animation
Disney animated films. It's more used in video games and other studios' CGI properties.
Yeah, and is much better than the rotoscoping of like the 80s. Was it called Fire and something? That one that was like the swords and sorcery adult animated movie that just looks weird.
There's also the Bakshi Lord of the Rings was heavily rotoscoped.
Yeah, that looks odd. I don't think that scarier, faithful type rotoscoping ages very well. I think it looks really weird. Whereas this is sort of more for reference. The characters have their own, as we said, silhouettes.
Yes.
And they use the actor's motion and movements as a reference point for it, which you'll see a lot today. There's a wonderful video doing the rounds on Twitter at the minute of one of the animators and her references for Peter and Miles scenes for Into the Spider-Verse.
Ah, okay.
Like she shot herself and then... filmed herself... and then used that as the reference for their movements. It's like the scene in the burger diner and things like that. And it's like, that's great.
Interesting.
Animators are actors. Like, they are performers. And a good animator is a good actor. And a good actor can help complement animation. As they were doing for this. And it definitely works in Alice in Wonderland. It's so frantic, and the backgrounds, the use of black background and everything, sort of like the forests and the woodland fading away.
I can see the motion of it. I can see the motion of Alice and the way her dress moves and the way her hair bobs. I can see that.
Yeah,
because
the White
it's
Rabbit.
So
it's that little lump scurrying around.
Because the animators captured the life so well, but just gave it that exaggerated tweak.
Yeah.
I can
still
tweak. See all that now.
Little oysters, all that stuff. It's great. I love Alice in Wonderland, and not just when high. Let's have a crack on an email. Let's see what a listener,
all right.
or potential listener has said.
I should say that a lot of, because of the age of a lot of our listeners, they do tend towards the Renaissance era Disney. So with that, this one comes in from Jacob. He says, "Hello, cockers."
Hello, Jacob.
It's been a while. I went to see Aladdin last week. And I have to say, it was alright. Nothing to rave on about, though. It never felt big enough to me. The sets felt very small. About the question about the best Disney movie, though, I think it's Aladdin. OG Aladdin. I think that's because I feel so much nostalgia for it.
The Thief and the Cobbler, the movie they nicked from?
Yeah. There's so much nostalgia for it. Well, I mean, that's why they've remade it, because people feel nostalgia for the original. All the songs are works of art. Robin Williams is one of the best voice actors of all time, in my opinion, and it feels so magical. Sounds cliche, I know, but every time I watch it, the 5-year-old in me comes out. Well,
that's a scary party trick.
Should probably let them out more often. They need to get some sun.
Does he go out through the chest? If so, you should go as Kane from Alien for Halloween.
Nice. But yes, I think I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Aladdin a lot.
I'll vote for Aladdin. Well, you talk about modern. Molly McFadden. Lovely Molly McFadden. Hi, Molly. Miss you.
Hi, Moll.
Molly says, why would you put this kind of pressure on us, in reference to us asking what the best one is?
Sadists.
Just because you are the one asking the question, I have to say, Moana. Because
very good.
Molly and I met during my time doing Cinderella in Lincoln a few years ago, and I saw Moana on a quiet afternoon of rehearsals where I wasn't needed. And I wept like a baby and convinced James from the cast to come and see it with me a week later. Because I was like, someone else has to see this and understand why I, a 20-something, has just cried on my own in the cinema. Moana is
good.
Bloody wonderful. But again, it's a product of that Renaissance kind of way of approaching the movies. And using sort of the cultural aspects as the flavour of the film.
That's why I think going back to the pre-Renaissance Disney now is more of, this is important culturally.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, in terms of its sensibilities and the way, particularly the way it treats female characters and and characters of colour and things like that, it hasn't aged well. Whereas it's the Renaissance when they started thinking more about that sort of stuff because of the era that stuff was being made. So those films they are necessarily more complex because they are thinking more about what they are doing, saying, how they're portraying. But,
how certain things will age over time as well.
But because they've taken that time to think and do, then those films benefit from it.
Yeah.
In ways that the older stuff doesn't.
Oh, I think that on defense of the older stuff, none of it ever comes from a place of negativity or whatnot or stigma. It is just because times have changed, and I think that needs to be acknowledged. Absolutely, that these things have aged badly because, but none of it has ever come from those places. And also, you can blame it on the source material, like the next film, the 14th in the Walt Disney Pictures canon, is Peter Pan. Of course, based on the play Peter Pan and the novel Peter and Wendy by J.M. Barrie. We're getting into the villain territory here as well now.
Hook.
Hook is one of the great pathetic villains. He's a threat, and he's menacing, but he's foppish. And... is lower on the food chain of Neverland. Like, he's the feared, dread pirate, but he's scared of that crocodile that nearly ate him once before and ate the clock.
And he keeps getting punked by a bunch of kids.
Yeah. in animal onesies.
Yeah. Fucking too right.
Peter Pan, again, a classic story. There's some really nice visual gags in this. All the shadow stuff at the beginning is wonderful.
Yeah.
This is where the songs, I think, really start to pop. Like You Can Fly, for example.
Yeah, I've not seen Peter Pan for so long that I can't hear any of the songs in my head.
You can't hear any of them?
Nope.
You Can Fly?
Nope.
Never Smile at Crocodiles, never a full song, it's just a tune?
Nope.
Okay. I'm blanking.
Yep, so
which is weird, because you've probably not seen Pinocchio in a million years, have you?
No.
But you can hear When You Wish Upon a Star.
Yes.
Because that's the signature Disney song.
That is the
to
signature
the point
Disney
where the Walt Disney Pictures banner is... Peter Pan, again, is sort of a staple of British culture. Do you know which film isn't a staple of British culture, is also the next one to be getting a live-action remake later this year? Number 15, Lady and the Tramp.
Oh yeah, that's a Disney Plus thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the come to Disney Plus selling points. And I'm like, no. Use the Mandalorian and your MCU shows as you start, and access to the entirety of your back catalogue. Use that as a selling point.
Lady and the Tramp's okay.
It's fine. Oh, this is the night.
Yeah, that's a pretty
beautiful night.
There are moments from Lady and the Tramp that have become iconic, like the
He's a
spaghetti.
tramp, but they love him. Breaks a new heart every day.
Yeah.
Again, this is the point where they've perfected animal characters being so beautifully done that they emote like crazy. Sometimes better than the human characters.
Yeah.
It also has an incredibly accidentally racist song with the Siamese cats.
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp's beautiful and has become one of the most iconic visual moments in all of popular culture, Western popular culture.
Yeah.
Which is the spaghetti moment.
Yeah.
That you say to somebody, think of a film with spaghetti in it, the first thing they'll think of is that moment from Lady and the Tramp. It's so bloody cute.
Which is ironic because spaghetti bolognese is probably the least romantic meal you could ever consume.
You've not had my spaghetti bolognese. Actually, you have.
Yeah.
You have owned it, and you introduced me to the concept of putting a very thin slice of mozzarella on top of your garlic bread and sticking it back in the oven for 5 minutes. That's what you do. Oh, damn it. Why didn't we get married?
It wasn't legal at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then the moment passed.
Oh, yeah. And the sex was dreadful, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. Didn't know where to put it, did you?
We're both triers. I'll give us that. Do you know what else is a trier?
Fucking hell.
Sleeping Beauty, number 16. This is the most metal of the original run.
This is the one, I can see the Prince Charming from this in my head.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Disney Prince, I always think of Prince Charming from...
Aurora / Briar Rose is one of the most gorgeously rendered leads in a Disney movie. Mm-hmm. She is beautiful. As an animated character, as like oh my god, that is an objectively stunning individual, oh, they're a cartoon. Now I'm sad.
And the spinning wheel as well.
The spinning wheel.
The spinning wheel is a stick in your mind.
The crows, the thorns, but let us not forget the greatest Disney villain of them all. Shut up, everybody! Listen and hear me out. Maleficent.
Nope.
Actual Maleficent. Not live-action Maleficent. Not House of Mouse Kingdom Hearts Maleficent. Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty Maleficent. And I'll tell you why. Maleficent is an all-powerful, essentially she-devil, like, Wiccan creature.
Great cheekbones.
Who's amazing cheekbones, wonderful dress sense, great voice, so much so she's the same voice actor who played Lady Tremaine in Cinderella.
Yeah, okay.
What's the actress name? She's amazing. She is Eleanor Audley, who made such an impact in Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. She's also the voice of Madame Leota in every Haunted Mansion attraction. That is the head suspended in the crystal ball.
Okay.
Who chants when you go around. And again, one of the best set pieces in those rides. Played by we love her, but she's terrible in this also terrible movie. Played by Jennifer Tilly in the Haunted Mansion film. Doesn't work the same.
No.
But whatevs. Maleficent is all-powerful, and yet what does she do in this movie? And keep in mind, we don't see all of her life, what she does all the time. We just see what she does in relation to this kingdom. She's not invited to a kingdom that is well aware of her power. I mean, they've got 3 fairy, members of the kingdom. 3 fairies. So they know magic's a thing in this world, yeah? She isn't invited to the christening of baby Aurora, so rocks up, goes, alright, you're gonna be like that, that's cool. Here's my gift to her. At the age of 16, she's gonna prick her finger on a spinning wheel. And then she's going to fall into an unending sleep. The next best thing to death. And all of y'all are going to fall into a sleep as well as a result. So, see you in 16 years, have fun. And then she pisses off. She pisses right off.
Yeah.
So what does the kingdom do? Destroy every spinning wheel and get rid of every single spindle and spinning wheel in the entirety of the kingdom. Close to her 16th birthday, they freak out. So they take her away to be raised by the fairies with a different identity in a cottage in the woods, completely separated from the kingdom.
Yep.
And yet, Maleficent still makes it happen. It still happens.
She gets shit done.
Castle gets covered in thorns. She's happy as Larry. Prince Philip rocks up, for that is his name.
Fuck is Larry?
Well, he's not Philip. Philip rocks up, for that is his name, to take her on. Probably the most proactive Disney prince.
Yeah.
Like, sword, horse, into battle. I'm going to kill this witch and save everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Rocks up. And, she's like, you want to kill her? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to turn into a giant freaking dragon. She turns into a dragon, Matt.
Yeah, there is that.
She turns into a goddamn dragon.
There is that.
Her Funko Pop's over there. And even that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that is good.
Maleficent is the Mac Daddy. Sorry, the Mac Mommy. She's the Yas Queen of the Disney villains. When we get to the 90s, we're going to meet a whole host of even more interesting ones, but she's the best.
Major point.
I'm going to make, I've got 99 problems, but the Dalmatians ain't 101.
Oh,
101 Dalmatians is the next one. This has also had a lot of re-releases too.
Yeah.
Based on 101 Dalmatians, a British novel by Dodie Smith. This has got, again, a great villain because she's just petty.
Wasn't it also?
She wants to murder and skin dogs for a coat.
Wasn't it technically the first one to get a live action version?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any others before that had a live action adaptation by Disney, but I don't think there ever was.
Not that I can think of.
That's counted as the first one in like this run of them, absolutely. 101 Dalmatians, and also got a sequel.
Yes.
But again,
we're getting a prequel.
We're getting to the music now. Cruella de Vil.
Yes.
Cruella de Vil. She doesn't scare you. No evil thing.
That's very good.
Roger and Perdita and Pongo and like every character in this. Again, beautifully animated. Great evil sidekicks, Jasper and Horace.
Mm-hmm. Bumbling sidekick comedy double act.
Scary ass looking villain. Like when Cruella's driving that car, she looks frightening.
Yeah.
This is a short and simple story. It's not. I wouldn't put it up there in their top tier.
No,
but it's like a beautifully executed bout of bizarreness. Top tier Disney are. But is this next one? Absolutely not. The 18th one is The Sword and the Stone. Sword in the Stone, of
Barely
course,
remember it.
based on the Arthurian legends. It was also released with... you ready for this? In 1963, it's re-released in 63.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, it's a 63 release. It came out in 63. It had a short attachment called The Lonesome Ghosts, which I'm sure I've seen in a compilation. And when it was re-released in 83, it was Winnie the Pooh and A Day for Eeyore was attached to it.
Oh.
Which is, again, one of the loads of shorts from the Winnie the Pooh, which is lovely. But Sword in the Stone is a take on the Arthurian legend, specifically like Arthur as a kid.
Kid in a big baggy red shirt.
Yeah, and Mad Madam Mim. Hockety-pockety, whackety-whack. There's a line I say from that regularly just because Lucy repeated it so much over the years that I just say it now, which is, damn it all, Pellinor. Because why not?
Oh, well, why not indeed?
This one, again, is just funny, but it's kind of a, yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
There's a reason it's not beloved, because it's not worth beloving.
Well, it might also be because the majority of Walt Disney Animation Studios were pouring their heart and soul into the film that came out a few years later, delayed because Walt died during the development of this film.
Oh, yeah.
Based on Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
It's The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
This is the first one I fell in love with as a kid.
Yeah, I fucking love The Jungle Book.
And it's every aspect of it.
I just adore it.
It's the animation. It's the songs. It's the flipping tone.
Yeah.
It's not as dark as Kipling's books, but it still retains the danger element of the books, albeit through a very childish, we're having a lot of fun here prism.
Well, what it does is, it does so well is when you get into the peril towards the end.
Yeah.
With the lightning and the rainstorm and the fire, it's very Chiaroscuro.
Oh, God, yes.
And
yeah.
It's the shadow and the suggestion of threat that makes it, especially to a child, where darkness is still scary.
Well, the children
That's what
watching,
makes it-
Mowgli's is dumb as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Mowgli don't notice a damn thing.
There is that.
Mowgli's just like, oh, what? I'm gonna get, like, I'm gonna end up being the bitch boy servant to a giant ape king. And
Not a chance.
oh, that snake's gonna eat me? Oh, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, the tiger wants to rip me apart? Yeah, I'll be cool. It's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Mowgli, you're a damn idiot.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, every cast member of this thing, both the voice actor and the animal characters, phenomenal. Just so good. And this introduces, again, a lot of regulars, like Sebastian Cabot is Bagheera.
Yeah.
And it's a great performance. Phil Harris as Baloo, who now will recur and pop up several times going forward. Sterling Holloway returns, this time as Car the Snake. A character that was going to be a lot creepier when they wanted him to be a villain, but they thought, we might take him out because this is a bit too spooky.
Yeah.
Because initially it was just that one scene. The second one came later. Because they had a leftover song from Mary Poppins called The Land of Sand, which they didn't use, and they retooled, the Sherman Brothers retooled it into Trust in Me. Which they then went, this is actually a bit too creepy. Because they did a test screening and people went, that snake bit was funny. So they went, well, I guess we'll add another bit with him in then.
And more snake.
Which was good for George Sanders too, because he was like, oh, can I have another scene then? Because obviously you get that really funny bit between him and Shere Khan. So he's like, oh, I get paid as well. This is great. But Sterling Holloway did the character with a lisp, but they went, that's actually kind of funny. I thought, yeah. So, well done. Louis Prima and his band as King Louis, the only original character in this. And his band playing the music for I Want to Be Like You, which is hands down one of the best Disney. I mean, this one, I think this is one of the most pre-Renaissance, consistently banging soundtracks.
Yeah.
It's really good. So as we said, friend like me. That's like I Want to Be Like You, Trust in Me, Bare Necessities. That's What Friends Are For, which is hilarious. My Own Home, which is not a banger, but it's still like this hauntingly beautiful piece of music.
It's the melodies that have just stuck in your head.
Yeah. Oh, they're incredible.
This is the first one where you can go back and go, oh, actually, the whole thing is just...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The Vultures, again, that's another interesting story. There was going to be another sequence of the Rhino called Rocky, I think it was, which then showed up on... Animatics for it showed up on the 40th anniversary DVD.
Yeah.
But... and that character is loosely put back into the live action one. There was a rhino briefly, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
That's that character. That's them going, there he is, and let's move on. But the vultures were originally going to be played by the Beatles,
yeah.
and that's why some of them retained Beatles-esque haircuts, and one of them's just straight up Scouse.
Yeah.
Because that was the plan. But then the Beatles said yes to it, and then the Beatles record label went, hang on, fuck off. No, we want this for it. Because they were, of course, going to co-write a song with the Sherman Brothers so that it fit their style but also fit the film and wasn't too distracting. I'll be honest, I'm glad it never happened because it would have really taken away from that finale as a distraction. Plus, it would have meant we never got George Sanders doing the "That's what friends are for." I can't get that deep. It's so good. And George Sanders is Shere Khan. Again, one of the best Disney villains.
Delightful.
Oh, Colonel Haffy as well. The Elephant's Parade.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, it's just. But it's the anime. It's the quality of the movement in this that's my favourite thing.
So good they made another film out of it.
Well, we'll get to that.
Which is also pretty good.
We'll get to that. Well, they were already using some of the still cells as well.
Yeah.
Because some of Mowgli's movements were used for Arthur in Sword in the Stone. Because keep in mind, Jungle Book was being worked on for 8 years. But not as criminally as it was used later. Oh, some of his movements were used for Christopher Robin in the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which is not in this canon, I'm afraid to report. Oh, wait, yes it is. I'm talking up my arse. I was thinking of the Blustery Day. Never mind. My brain's melting. The next movie is The Aristocats.
Fucking love the Aristocats. I will go to bat for the Aristocats.
Based on the story by Tom McGowan and Tom Rowe. Tell us why The Aristocats is one of your faves.
Because you have to do your scales and your arpeggios. Because everybody wants to be a cat. Because Marie's just the best.
Everybody.
Because it's the fucking Aristocats. Well, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? It's a bunch of cats running around Paris singing songs. It's great. So good.
Phil Harris returning. Baloo in the last one returned to play Thomas O'Malley. Full name, Abraham DeLacy, Giuseppe Casey, Thomas O'Malley.
Yes.
O'Malley. The Alley Cat. Sterling Holloway again comes back. This time as Roquefort, the mouse.
Yep.
Probably his most adorable role, actually, that one. Yeah. This film's great. Aristocats is great. And again, it's a fully human sort of world that we're in now. We're in a civilized society. It's set in, is it Paris?
It's set in Paris,
beautiful. Again, banging music, but it sort of... It comes now into that weird period where things don't quite bite, and it's, I think, down to the death of Walt.
Yeah.
Because Walt was a businessman, and, a problematic individual in places, and probably in ways we never knew, but he was always, and he made this very clear, when he was CEO of the company and head of his own company, he made it very clear that, we are here to tell stories. He said, my films are made for children, yes, but that means the child in all of us. So we made a point of saying, I'm not just making this for kids. I want adults to enjoy this. I want them to feel like a kid again when they watch a Disney film.
But there is a certain sense of rudderlessness to the film. For a while, actually. For a good decade, at least.
It first felt a bit in Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
Jungle Book survives because he was involved with it right up until his death. Aristocats kind of has that. They just feel like there's just something not quite there, and it continues into the recycling movie.
Well, I've got to say before we do that, we have got another vote for the Aristocats in the emails.
Holy shit balls! Hit me with an email,
this
boy.
One comes in from Caroline. She says, "Hi. In my opinion,
Caroline.
The Aristocats is the best. I'll just stick it on for the soundtrack sometimes. Everybody wants to be a cat.
Hallelujah!
Just fab." And the characterization, the most adorable squishy kitten, the elegance of Mama, the slapstick of the butler, the highly silly geese, and the bumbershoot.
Oh God, the geese! I've got the geese.
It's got everything. So there you go. However, Caroline does make a misstep here because she says, in my humble opinion, B-Movie's my favourite computer-generated one though. Lots in there for the grown-ups. Not a Disney movie though.
Not a Disney movie, but an excellent meme. What's the deal with a bee falling in love with a human?
Oh!
Over on the Twitters, Trilby, Trilby says, Beauty and the Beast,
Yes.
hands down. Gorgeous, great songs, the story still holds up, Gaston is the very best, and the ballroom sequence is a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have thoughts on Beauty and the Beast, but damn well that is a fine vote. And Patchit Chewy says, The Lion King. Pretty much every scene and song is iconic, has arguably the most gravitas of any Disney animated flick. It's Shakespeare meets Cats, what more do you want? Fair enough. That's a decent argument.
Okay.
And Sue Taylor, lovely Sue, from Lincoln, from BBC Radio Lincolnshire, says, that's harder than what is the meaning of life? To the question of what's the best film. Jungle Book. First film I saw at the cinema. Just Pip Snow White. Pure genius for the time it was made. And Bambi, because that pulls the heartstrings. But Jungle Book is vibrant and set a high bar for future animated films.
Also, like we said, that banging soundtrack.
My God. Well, people love Jungle Book so much that, like you said, they recycled a shitload of the animatic.
Oh, yes.
Because Robin Hood is the 1973 release.
And I think them recycling a lot of the animations for it is what makes it so... is why a lot of people still really like Robin Hood.
Visually, it's definitely...
Because the animation was so good.
But sometimes just right up stealing. Like, Little John is just Baloo.
Yeah.
Sir Hiss is
Just
semi-car.
Basically car.
But then there's unique aspects that are in there as well. For example, Pat Buttram as the Sheriff of Nottingham is great.
Yes.
That design is great. You never really see anyone draw a fat wolf.
No.
No one ever draws a fat wolf. They're always wily or pointy or jagged. It's just a big fat wolf.
Well, fat wolves are slow and slow wolves don't eat.
Phil Harris, that's probably part of the curse of Little John, is that Phil Harris is voicing him. So it's just, that's Baloo.
It's Baloo.
That is Baloo.
It's always going to Baloo.
But one of the best performances from a quote-unquote celebrity, because a lot of the castings are musical theatre castings and everything at this point.
We're not in the era of like mainstream movie stars casting.
Yeah, that's sort of post Aladdin where that becomes a thing where they advertise it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that being said, there was still a lot of film actors who were known as film actors, either character actors or big names in sort of comedy and that popping up at this point. And of course, Peter Ustinov's in this, as Prince John, and he is excellent.
It's
in this.
very good.
Like a proper funny performance. And I also just look at the cast. I didn't realise this. He's also King Richard at the end.
Well, of course.
I didn't realise that. That is a nice touch.
Yeah.
Sort of bookend it. But again, Robin Hood doesn't quite have that spark yet. That spark's not come back yet. And I don't think it really returns till the Renaissance. But also launched 1,000 furries and fetishes.
I was just about to say that. Like, its biggest legacy was the sexual awakening of many furries.
Is it a sex thing?
I get it. I mean, I'm not. But I get it.
Well, you want to talk furries. You want to talk a thick boy.
Okay.
And we stan a thick boy.
Do we?
Number 22.
Depends which thick boy it is.
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. The 1977 release. Oh, bother. Based on Winnie the Pooh and the House at Pooh Corner by A.A. Milne. This is, again, it's a series of short stories and interstitials linked together, but it's all about the 100 Acre Woods, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, Rabbit, Eeyore, Owl, Kangaroo, Gopher, Mecha Godzilla, all of our favourites.
No, that's next week.
Oh yeah, all of our favourite. Well, oh god, I hope.
Yeah,
there better be a hint to Mecha Godzilla in that.
Yeah.
Film. This is charming as hell. I don't recall this one as much as I do, and what I was saying before, I've just remembered what it actually was. Winnie the Pooh's Most Grand Adventure. That's the one I remember the most because that was the straight-to-video 90s film.
Of which there were a lot.
That came out in the middle of the Renaissance, but that was the one that was like an hour and a half that then made them go, yeah, Winnie the Pooh's still a thing. So then they started releasing many Winnie the Pooh animated films from Disney Toon and stuff at that point. Tigger movie, the Heffalump movie, all that stuff. But Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, I mean, come on. You want to cheer yourself up? Do you want to watch a bear dress like a bee, floating up on a balloon to get some honey? Of course you frickin' do.
Yes.
Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. We stan a thick boy.
Never seen it. I might track it down.
You'll have seen. I guarantee you'll have seen bits of it.
I love a bit of Pooh Bear.
Dirty bastard. Do you also love The Rescuers? Released the same year, funnily enough.
Yes. I love The Rescuers.
Both
I love The
1977
Rescuers.
Releases. I didn't realise that. They turned out 2 in 1 year. Rescuers is bloody lovely. And it is based on The Rescuers and Miss Bianca which is a British novel by Marjorie Sharp. I had no idea.
It's just so charming.
A Tale of Two Critters was its theatrical short attached to it, and its re-release in '83, Mickey's Christmas Carol was attached to it. Mickey's Christmas Carol is like half an hour, isn't it? That's the one where Scrooge McDuck is Scrooge. Yeah. It's like half an hour. That's a long-ass short to attach to a film.
I must have seen it on its re-release then.
Yeah, well, hang on. 83, no.
Oh no, I think it's 93.
But then again, the film, the Mickey's Christmas Carol was out on VHS around the same time as the Renaissance stuff, so it's entirely possible you've devoured it. The one where Goofy's Jacob Marley.
I've been said I might have seen Rescuers Down Under in cinemas.
Maybe. Well, it looks like it was re-released to coincide with Down Under.
What year was that?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, no, it was re-released in the cinema in 83 and 89. So
I probably would have been too young. I'd have been 1.
If you were there with people going to see a movie and trying to keep you quiet.
Yeah,
you would not have been watching the screen.
I don't think my parents
you would have been grabbing your feet and shitting your pants.
I still do that now.
Yeah.
Depends what I've eaten.
Can you remember the basic plot of The Rescuers? Because I remember it had something to do with the United Nations.
It's children ask for help and mice help them, and they fly on an albatross in a sardine can.
Yeah, they do. Bernard and Miss Bianca, played by Bob Newhart and Eva Gabor.
Yeah.
Because why not? Oh yeah, this is the one where the villain is the hunter Madame Medusa.
Yeah.
Who again comes from the Cruella de Vil school of, God, that's a scary looking, angry, middle-aged woman.
Mm-hmm. Do you think someone at Disney had mummy issues?
Had a fear, quite possibly. But yeah, really sweet. Penny's in that one as well. She's a little girl in it. That film's got some freaky alligators as well, if I remember correctly. Speaking of freaky, Freaky Deaky Dutch. Ladies and gentlemen, The Fox and the Hound. Based on The Fox and the Hound by Daniel P. Mannix.
This is the one that Kurt Russell's in, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a relatively recent adaptation at the time. It's based on a book from '67 that came out in '81.
Oh, wow. They're getting right. So that's when... Is this when Disney started jumping on recent properties to build their IP library?
Quite possibly. You ready for this? Mickey Rooney was Todd. Kurt Russell was Copper. That's a distinct age difference between those two actors at the time, isn't it? Young Todd was Keith Mitchell and young Copper was Corey Feldman.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
Aye.
I don't think I've ever seen The Fox and the Hound.
It's really sweet. Like, proper touching. Because, again, it's just about the idea of the roles that society chooses for you, told through the medium of this little basset hound and this little fox that get on as kids, and then years go by and you know the hound returns to the forest now as the hunting dog of a poacher, and sort of what that means and what it means for their friendship. And it's like, yeah, some pretty deep damn themes going on here. Again, the enemy is man.
The enemy is always man.
Oh, except when it's the undead. Film 25, and a film that I absolutely love, despite it not being the greatest of Disney's, but it's, I mean, the balls on this film. The Black Cauldron, based on Lloyd Alexander's novels, The Chronicles of Prydain.
Always watched
Prydain.
Never seen it.
It's fucking creepy. It's, I mean, again, you're going metal here, like, the villain villain is the Horned King.
I remember seeing
who wants to use the Black Cauldron to bring back the dead as his army of servants.
Why have I never seen this film? That sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, well, it's not amazing, but it's visually it's stunning. John Hurt is the Horned King.
Oh,
so you're getting some creepy shit.
So I remember it didn't get re-released for a long time.
Oh yeah, it's let's have a little look. Yeah, it never had a cinematic re-release ever.
Yeah.
So it was just a VHS baby. It's because it was a bomb, effectively. It didn't do well, and parents didn't know what to make of it. Like, I'm not taking my kid to that. It looks terrifying. Despite some lovable main characters, terrible sidekick, Gurgi's awful. Proto-Stitch, I call him. Similar voice. But, guys, if you've never seen The Black Cauldron, you're included.
Yes, I'm included in that.
Seek it out. Seek it out. And then have a look at Tokyo Disneyland's Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella's Castle, whatever it is, tour, because there was a walkthrough attraction where people were shown taken on tours of the dungeons beneath the castle by a cast member, and then the magic mirror shows up and is like, "Yeah, no, stop celebrating the heroes. Like, we're going to see the villains." And you go through several villainous environments, ending in a sequence with the Horned King, which was one of the freakiest animatronics ever made.
The Horned King.
Yeah, proper freaky. Talking Japanese, so it's a bit confusing. But,
Oh well, still.
Speaking of confusing, do you know what's better than one of the most acclaimed mystery fiction characters being adapted into film?
Doing it with talking animals?
Yes. The Great Mouse Detective
I haven't
is
seen
number
this
26.
for so long that I can't remember anything about it.
Also known over here as Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah.
Although its theatrical re-release was The Adventures of the Great Mouse Detective. Great Mouse Detective is great. It's basically Sherlock Holmes. That's all you need to know. Sherlock Holmes. But Sherlock Holmes is a little mouse. And Watson is a mouse. And they're mice. Imagine if Danger Mouse, right,
Yeah.
wasn't all about gadgets and James Bond, but was just Sherlock Holmes.
So Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
But the most notable thing about this, its directors are Ron Clements and John Musker, who go on to direct so many of the best, specifically a few of the Renaissance.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is where they kick right off proper. But it's based on Basil of Baker Street as well, which is novels written about a mouse version of Sherlock Holmes, because of course.
Sure.
The villain of this movie is Rattigan, who's basically Moriarty.
Yeah.
He's one of the campest...
But
yeah.
wait for it. He's a rat.
What?
He's a rat.
No, I'm not having that. Seriously, if you don't tell him that, he doesn't like being reminded.
Moriarty.
People get hurt when he's told
I know.
in the film.
But
What?
he is a rat.
Okay. Thanks.
Rattigan?
Oh, Rattigan.
He's a rat.
You're right there.
He's a rat.
Oh
Tigan.
God! Swap the Reichenbach Falls for the clock arms of Big Ben, and the ending portion of the film is an adaptation of The Final Problem. But he's also voiced by Vincent motherfucking Price.
Yes!
And he's camp as Christmas, and he's great. And one of the scarier Disney films, I think, just from some of the visuals and the tone. It's really intimidating.
I mean, your bad guy's a rat, so...
Don't tell him! Oliver and Company is next.
What?
Oliver and Company will probably be most known to British listeners, and yourself included. Now, when I mention this, it might ring a bell.
I'm aware of Oliver and Company. I just
The
don't know anything
VHS
about
release was heavily publicised throughout the Renaissance cassette releases. Specifically showing a bit of the Dodgers song that went, "Why should I worry? Why should I care?" And he's like dancing around the streets and shit. That was on every Disney VHS from most of the 90s, the same way that Muppet bit after the credits was always on it, of Gonzo appearing through a thing and doing a weird trick.
Okay.
Oliver and Company is the first kind of...
Pass me right fucking by.
The first kind of, let's litter this cast with celebrities.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's Oliver Twist with dogs.
Yeah, and Oliver is a cat. Because of course.
Sure.
This is them doing this is them doing Robin Hood again, but this time just straight up animals, not anthropomorphic. Joey Lawrence is Oliver, little Joey Lawrence. Billy Joel is Dodger.
Yeah.
Cheech Marin is Tito.
Yeah.
Richard Mulligan is Einstein.
Yeah.
Roscoe Lee Brown is Francis. Cheryl Lee Ralph, with Ruth Pointer singing, as Rita. Dom DeLuise as Fagin. Starting Dom DeLuise's long career of being in animated films, this being the only good one.
Look, shit, son!
Look, Dom DeLuise was hilarious, right? He was absolutely hilarious, but he worked mostly in Don Bluth's animated movies.
Yeah.
Which are very hit and miss. This is his best one. It just is. I mean, come on. After Oliver and Company, he's in All Dogs Go to Heaven. Happily Ever After. Fievel Goes West. Magic Voyage. Munchie. Ugh. A Troll in Central Park. Ugh. All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. Ugh. An American Tale, Treasure of Manhattan. Ugh. All Dogs Christmas Carol. Guilty pleasure. The Secret of Nim 2. Timmy to the Rescue.
The Secret of Nim 2?
An American Tale, The Mystery of the Night Monster.
Stop making American Tail things!
And The Lion of Oz. No.
What? He's not in Anastasia?
Nope. He was alive, but I think even he looked at that and went, no, thank you.
What do people not like Anastasia?
Anastasia's shit.
I've never seen it.
People love it. Lucy loves it. I think it's dog shit. But Disney now own it, so they could remake it.
Okay.
Even the musical version that started on Broadway like last year cuts out the only interesting thing from the animation, which is Rasputin. They cut out the villain.
What?
Completely cut him out.
What?
Yeah. Oliver Company. It's a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have another email now.
Okay.
Because we're about to move into La Renaissance. All of our millennial listeners are going, oh, fucking finally!
Yeah.
Stick with us. First, an email.
Okay, this one comes in from... This is a nice, short, sweet one. This one comes in from Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
And it says...
Where's the antidote? Please tell me.
The best Disney film is Lilo and Stitch. I love it so much and it makes me cry whenever I watch it. Heart smiley face.
Rebecca, that is the purest email ever.
I love it.
Oh my god, Lilo and Stitch.
Also,
I'm looking forward to hearing from people who love that one. Because we sort of missed that one in a way, didn't we?
I love Lilo. Yeah, I kind of miss Lilo and Stitch. I'll give you another one.
Oh yeah.
Again, this is definitely a friend of the Renaissance.
Oh, me.
This one comes in from Jay. It says, "Hey guys,
Hey Jay.
I'm here to defend the honour of The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
God damn yes.
Not only is its soundtrack gorgeous and its story terrifyingly dark for Disney, but Frollo is the best villain to grace Disney's filmography. People go on about how Gaston is a great villain, which he is, because he's not enhanced by magic or powers, making him have the possibility of being anyone, but instead in being motivated by a cartoonish sense of ego. Frollo is powered by his inherent elitist hatred of everyone below him, which he disguises behind religious devotion, which he's convinced himself of so hardly that when he feels an overwhelming sense of lust, he vents his hatred of himself outwards to the extent of murdering innocents and burning the entire city of Paris. He's so much more realistic than Gaston and 1,000s of times more petrifying. Just ignore the gargoyles. It's perfect. Hope you're doing well, Jay."
Hey Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
I wholeheartedly agree on a lot of your points. Most notably that film is perfect if you ignore the gargoyles. But we'll get into that.
The bells, 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 bells of Notre Dame!
Apologies for headphone listeners. Do you remember,
So
do you remember
fucking
when we
good.
did that in Manchester Cathedral?
So fucking good.
And was it that top note, or was it the top note of Oh Happy Day that got you? Because I remember at the end of
Both.
that gig, at that point we weren't hanging out yet, but we knew each other.
So Happy Days when we did the falsetto, which I can't do anymore, but Bells of Notre Dame
It's all those crack pipes you've been smoking,
Yeah.
and then eating.
Bells of Notre Dame is a top D, which I still can get in full belt.
Yeah, but I remember at the end of that gig, like, because I was always, I still am, but I was always impressed by it. I was like, oh my god, this guy's fucking rock and
Everyone
roll.
remembers the whole Happy Day bit.
I remember finishing that gig, and we all went to the side to get our stuff, and you were just casually dabbing a tissue at your nose. I went, you alright? And you went, yeah, I got a nosebleed. I was like, whoa! What the fuck? Because let's be honest, forget the vibration in your skull.
Well, I get them all the time.
The
anyway.
reverb in the acoustic... Yeah, but again, it's those crack pipes. The reverb and the everything from just that cathedral was amazing. But that music, the Disney music,
Oh yeah.
specifically Hunchback, that's sweet.
In that place.
Do you remember can you remember who the vocal coach was who came in? He did like a talk for us, and they specifically utilised his expertise to talk to us about doing Bells of Notre Dame. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody who come in to talk to. I think it was the MTs, wasn't it? But they got everyone together to talk about that
I'm
bit
not
as
sure.
well.
I can't remember.
But I remember him very specifically. That was where I really learnt about enunciation in musical theatre. Because up to that point, no one had ever taught that or emphasised it.
The fisherman fishes, the baker man bakes.
Yes! You remember it, aren't you?
Yeah,
Sort of that, the way he was talking about the peaks and the troughs of each word. He's like, even if there's no meaning behind the word, you need to illustrate each word uniquely so that it's not just a thing. That was, flash forward slightly, everybody, that was something I had a problem with in Aladdin remake. There's a few bits where they're just kind of singing.
Well, we'll get to that, but first we need to plough through the Renaissance.
Hunchback, beautiful.
Hunchback's very good. I really like Hunchback.
Simon Kenyon! For me, it's Little Mermaid. It still holds up today, and I can remember seeing it at the cinema. Disney's a huge part of our family. Myself and the wife grow up watching them all, and our children do the same. We even named our... His kids are named after Disney characters, Rex and Flynn.
Oh,
That's amazing.
I fucking love Little Mermaid.
Well, that's convenient, Matthew. Because the next movie is The Little Mermaid. Care to tell us about The Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Based on the Hans Christian Andersen Danish fairy tale, The Little Mermaid.
Remember when that hashtag went around on Twitter a couple of weeks back about first cartoon crushes?
Ariel.
But
you were underage yourself at the time, so it ain't creepy.
Well.
This is the Renaissance. This is where all of the gorgeous / sexy princess characters are questionably aged, but not drawn to be that way.
Besides that, just
Ariel's fit.
Part of your world. Flounder. Sebastian. Under the sea. Everything's better down where it's
Steady
wetter.
on.
Truer advice for life. I have seldom heard.
What? No love for Scuttle here?
Well.
Well, it's one of those. Fuck me if I knows.
Ursula.
Right, now we're getting into the meat of the Disney villain canon.
Eric's
this is
alright,
where they really... Eric's fine. But this is where they really start sticking out. Ursula, as performed by Pat Carroll.
Just
so good. I mean,
what
again,
a present.
Animated characters' performances are the results of the marriage of the voice performance and how it's directed and the animators who work on the characters. Ursula is one of the finest animated villain performances ever.
Wait, we skipped Rescuers Down Under?
Nope.
This came out before Rescuers Down Under?
Rescuers Down Under is the Iron Man 2 of the Renaissance.
When did The Little Mermaid come out?
89.
So I mustn't have seen it in the cinema then.
Oh no, you would have caught it on thingy. Oh, then again, it was re-released in 97. So you might have seen it in 97.
No, because I'd seen it. I remember I remember being very little and having seen The Little Mermaid.
I guarantee that VHS will be in the house somewhere.
It must be a VHS. I don't think we still got it. It must have been a rental. But a regular rental though.
But a regular rental, goddammit.
But I had all the Happy Meal toys as well.
The seaweed is always green.
I had
somebody else's lake.
I had little Eric in a boat, and I had
I
had a flounder water squeezer.
I had that.
And a suction cupped Ursula that you stuck on the side of the bath.
Brilliant. Creepy, but brilliant.
Yeah, it was good.
Flotsam and Jetsam. They're fucking creepy
Fucking
bastards.
hell.
Yeah. Creepy bastards. Again, a metal ending. Prince Eric impales Ursula on the front of the ship. She keeps the withered, still alive souls and husks of people who reneged on their deal with her.
She steals Ariel's voice!
Which leads to some of the most expressive, perfect animation ever.
A silent lead in animation.
Yeah. God, it's amazing.
Ballsy.
And again, the music. I think this is the first time that, Alan Menken is involved as the composer and music writer for the scores for these movies.
Up where they are, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun. Oh, it's so good.
Will you dress up and sing that to me?
Nope.
No. Can I dress up and you sing it at me?
Definitely not.
No. Well, speaking of definitely not.
Okay.
Rescuers Down Under.
Yes!
It's definitely not the worst. I like Rescuers Down Under. I think it is the one that is actually remembered more of the two Rescuers movies.
Yes, because it's got Joanna in it.
That's true. You're right there.
That's my Joanna voice.
Pretty good, actually. Again, Bob Newhart and Eva Gabor returning to this one.
Yeah.
Oh! What was it called? Is it Maraquetti, the giant eagle?
I can't bloody remember.
Because both that and Joanna are voiced by Frank Welker.
Of course they are!
Frank Welker, the absolute
Frank
legend.
fucking Welker.
Frank Scooby-Doo's Fred Welker.
More-
Frank Megatron Welker.
More credits than God.
Yeah, that's true. And still very shy, doesn't really like being interviewed.
Well,
To this day.
he just likes to make noises, doesn't
Just likes to make sounds.
he? Yeah.
God bless him. Also, when that was released, the theatrical short attached to it, and I say short because again it's another 25-minute bugger, Prince and the Pauper. The Mickey version. was attached to that on its theatrical
I think
release.
I might have seen that.
Again, that had a VHS release as well.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Oh, yeah, because this would have been 89, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But like I said, Rescuers Down Under, it's not an obvious member of the Renaissance, but it's because that was, of course, in development at the same time as Little Mermaid.
Because in my head, it comes out before Little Mermaid.
Oh, yes. Well. But, ladies and gentlemen, arguably...
Hey.
arguably, the greatest Disney movie for a lot of people. The 30th Walt Disney Animation Studios motion picture, Beauty and the Beast.
Tale as old as time. True as it can be. Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly.
They have been stretching.
Oh. It's... this I did see in the cinema.
Yeah, it's 91, so
and
it
must be one of my earliest
very
memories.
tiny.
But I remember
baba.
seeing it in the cinema and just being fucking blown away.
Yeah.
Just absolutely blown away.
As a kid, this was one that I always liked. As an adult, this is one of the best, bar none, for my money.
Yeah, it's one of the few that I've actually got on Blu-ray.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's a stunning piece of work.
It's just amazing.
Based on Beauty and the Beast, the French fairy tale by Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont.
What, not the TV series starring Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton?
That came after this,
created by George R. R. Martin.
That came after this,
I think
didn't
it was late 80s.
Oh my god, really?
It was contemporaneous.
Oh my god. Yeah, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, if you're a Game of Thrones fan and you're looking for something new to check out, go watch the Beauty and the Beast, Ron Perlman, Linda Hamilton TV soap opera / fantasy show.
I think it was pre-T2.
Beauty and the Beast.
I have to look it up now.
But yeah, Beauty and the Beast is a stunning piece of work. In no small part to every contributor, but let's be honest, I think the standout of this is the music by Alan Menken. And who's the lyricist for this one? Is it
The TV show.
Howard Ashman?
1990.
1990.
1987 to 1990.
Ah, neat. Howard Ashman, and who passed away during the making of it.
Oh no!
Alan Menken wrote all the songs for this.
Was this also the first one that got a big Broadway production?
I think so. Yeah, I believe this was the first one to get the stage adapt treatment.
Yeah.
Which continues to this day. It's one of those that disappears and then every few years reappears as like a world tour or a residency somewhere. Beauty and the Beast is stunning in every possible way, from the character designs to the character movement.
Yeah.
The care taken to make you grow to love a beast over the course of the tale, told through the animation, the songs, the pacing of it, the
just
script.
The design of the beast it himself, in that he can go from being terrifying to sympathetic instantly.
Yeah. There's, again, in Disneyland Paris, in the same exhibit hall as that voiceover booth, you can see they've got collections of original sketches of the various stages of designs for the beast.
Yeah.
And you can see them sort of go through that mood board almost of, here's the scariest thing we can think of. Here's the gentlest thing we can think of. We need to meet in the middle. And they talk about which animals they take sort of influence from, and do you know what I mean? It's like, this is amazing. Like, they went to so much care to make that work. The songs, I think this might be the best soundtrack.
Just so good.
In terms of it's untouchable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not my favourite Disney film. We've yet to get to that. But, like, I think this is untouchable. Every song is brilliant. Even when they returned Human Again to it on its DVD release, Human Again's not the best song of the bunch. But when it goes in there, you go, alright, okay, this fits.
And also Gaston.
Gaston's amazing. Oh.
In terms of, like, villain songs.
And the reprise.
Establishing
the
villain
reprise.
songs.
The fool, I'm afraid I've been thinking. A dangerous pastime, I know. It's freaking great. Gaston's amazing. The character, the song, everything around him is wonderful. He's a dark, horrible man.
Oh yeah.
Who seems to just be this bumbling egotist.
Well, we've already covered Gaston in the emails.
Yeah. But like the idea that over the course of the film, the beast goes from being a beastly sort of thing to our eyes to us learning about the humanity and the gentle side of him, whilst at that same time the B plot is Gaston's humanity disappearing layer by layer as he becomes more
being
of
a
murderous bastard. Yeah. But again, a funny villain. This is something that these villains get really right in this era. They're entertaining. And Gaston might be the funniest of them all.
Yep.
LeFou, great addition. Maurice, wonderful. The extended cast of furniture characters.
Yep.
Oh my god. Look,
Lumiere
and Cogsworth, one of the great double acts.
Oh. Just. And again, the character design's so iconic.
Yeah.
I know exactly, if I could draw, which I can't.
We can all draw.
But if I could draw,
we can all draw.
then I would be able to draw Lumiere, Cogsworth, Chip and Mrs. Potts from memory. Because they're burned in there. They are burned in there. They are not going anywhere. But I can't draw, so I can't do that.
You can draw. We can all draw.
No.
How to draw comics the Marvel way.
Sorry, if I could draw with any degree of fidelity,
Alright, okay.
then I would be able to do that.
We can all draw, Matt.
If
We've
I
all
could
drawn that weird S
If
made
I could-
with 6 vertical lines.
If I could put what was in my mind on the page in a visual manner.
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Oh, no!
But yeah, Paige O'Hara as well as Belle is one of the great performances in all of Disney.
Ballroom scene, the sweeping ballroom scene.
The film got nominated for a damn Oscar for Best Picture.
Because it's that fucking good!
God damn it! Ignore all of its sequels. And its
the same could be
remake.
said for pretty much anything from the Renaissance, to be fair.
Pretty much. Speaking of Renaissance films that get stupid amount of sequels and continuation,
No.
you got to keep one jump ahead of the bread line, one swing ahead of the store. Fast deal, only one I can afford. And that's Aladdin on DVD and Blu-ray, but do purchase it.
And that was better than the version that's in the film.
Yeah, the remake, you mean?
The remake, yeah.
Thank God, because
Yeah.
Ron Clements and John Musker return as directors this time do a film based on Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp from the 1001 Nights, specifically the French interpretation of the Arabian fairy tales by Antoine Galland. Good Lord, this film. I think this was a lot of, because there is sort of that stigma of, oh yeah, girls will like this one, or oh, boys will like that one.
Yeah.
Amongst sort of parents every now and again, which I hate. Let the kid decide what they like. But ultimately, with this one, this was always seen as sort of the boys' Disney movie. Bullshit, it's for everybody. But I see what you mean.
Yeah.
This is the first Disney film, probably after The Black Cauldron, that to me, I think of this as an action. Like, it's a romance, ultimately, but it's an action-adventure. Like, it's an adventure film. Like, it's got that swashbuckle, it's got that kick-assery, it's got, those sort of things usually associated with the action genre in there. It's funny as all hell.
Yeah.
It's perfectly cast throughout. We'll avoid the obvious for just a second, but let's talk Jonathan Freeman as Jafar and Gilbert Gottfried as Iago.
Now, Jafar. We want to talk about iconic Disney villains.
Yes.
Fucking Jafar, man. just the way his face emotes is evil and creepy and twisted. It just
the most
the way he
sarcastic delivery of ecstatic ever committed to film.
Just the way he forms his words. Talking about animators being performers, and look at Jafar.
Oh God, as Jafar, as a beggar, as a cobra, as a genie. Like, that performance is wonderful and complemented fantastically by Gottfried as Iago.
Yeah.
Like, they work so well together. I love how your foul little mind works.
Yes.
Possibly the campest Disney villain as well.
So brilliant for it.
All the better for
Brilliant for it.
I love this movie so damn much. Again, the soundtrack, gorgeous. Near untouchable in terms of its songs. The rejected songs from it that then returned for the stage adaptation make you go, holy shit, the stuff they threw out is better than 90% of the stuff I make to put out.
Yeah.
Like Proud of Your Boy, High Adventure. Like, these songs are incredible. I love it. And also it's the first one to really play with CGI.
Yes.
There's some in
There's a
Beauty
bit
and
of
the
it in Beauty and the Beast. The ballroom crane shot is CGI in Beauty and the Beast. But this has way more of it. The Cave of Wonders particularly.
Yeah.
Oh, the Cave of Wonders was... Fuck, because I do remember this scene in the cinema. I know I saw Beauty and the Beast in the cinema, but I don't know if I don't remember much of it. I remember being impressed by it. But this, I have much stronger memories of seeing it in the cinema. And the Cave of Wonders was terrifying!
Oh, God, yeah. Like, just perfectly freaky. Also, just like little bits and pieces of it work so well. It's got so many lovely little moments. Like the Sultan piling up all his animals into that little... Do you know what I mean? Just little things like that. And sorry, I love that bit. And the bread, like the sharing of the bread.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between Aladdin and Jasmine, especially when she thinks he's Ali just before A Whole New World.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly the most popular modern Disney song of all time as well.
Yeah.
Is wonderful. But then obviously this is the movie that really was the perfect marriage of the voice actor and the animators, in that Robin Williams as the genie was this mix of improvisation and the animators utilising that
One of the greatest
as a springboard.
One of the greatest vocal performances in the history of Western animation.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
And combined with some of the best animation in the history of Western animation. And just inventive in its visuals and its quick fire. The way it's... I mean...
Tell her the truth! Remember, be yourself.
It's just the way that the animation captures sort of Williams's quick fire, mercurial wit. The way, obviously, it's recorded after the fact, after he's recorded his dialogue. It's animated to that, but the fact that they can get that, the animators could get that much in.
Yeah. I mean, there's allegedly...
to every cell.
There's allegedly 16 hours total of recorded material.
Fuck me.
Like, days and weeks are spent in the voice studio getting everything that's needed, but there's 16 hours of solid recorded lines. So there's all the key story stuff, there's all the ad-libs, and then there's the ad-libs that they didn't use. It's doing the rounds again online because of Lindsay Ellis's recent video essay, but if you've never watched the piece that they showed to Robin Williams...
the pitch reel, yeah.
To convince him, it's phenomenal. So, just the whole thing. And his performance, the songs, I love Aladdin.
It is a standout piece of the Disney canon, and also a standout piece of the incredible legacy of work that Robin Williams left behind.
And also, thanks to Jasmine's semi-harem outfit, another sexual awakening for generations of people.
Oof.
Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it...
Great! See, that's funny because I can see the animation for it in my head when you say it. And you it's there.
So
it's there because it is so it's just so iconic. Just thinking about it is making me laugh because that's how effective it was.
That's right. He can be taught. Wish for something. Say anything. Say I wish for the Nile.
I wish for the Nile.
No way! Love it. We'll move on to one more Renaissance one before checking out some more emails and tweets.
Yes.
The Lion King! I'm going
to say something controversial.
Hit me.
It's overrated.
I would rather you have hit me.
It's overrated.
That's fine. I mean, you're wrong. With your subjective opinion that's completely yours and not incorrect.
It is
You're
overrated.
Wrong. I think the reason it makes such an impact is because it is a film with a lot
get me wrong.
of...
It is fucking great.
I think it's because it's a film with a lot of sort of gravitas and a lot of atmosphere and grandiose kind of scale to it, like the visuals, the music.
Great soundtrack. Really good music.
Would you say it's overrated? Well, do you know what? Stop that. I'm not even going to come up with an angle. Why do you think it's overrated? Totally curious.
Because I'm a curmudgeon.
All right, fair enough.
No, it is great, but whenever
because I'm an old fogey.
When people talk about the high points of the Disney Renaissance, I just don't go to The Lion King.
You know, as much as I enjoy the songs, I think the songs could possibly be part of it, if that makes any sense. Because again, amazing stuff in there and beautiful melodies and arrangements, but it was that weird thing of songs by Tim Rice and Elton John. It's like, okay, but Elton John and Tim Rice wrote some songs, and then Tim Rice had to be like, right, how do I make these work? And rewrite the fuckers so that they fit into the film.
Yeah.
Because if you get the soundtrack to The Lion King, it's 2 CDs essentially on one disc. One of them is 5 or 6 songs by Elton John, and the rest of it is the ones in the movie.
Yeah.
And they're different. Like, they're very different.
They are different. And so...
Which is why Road to El Dorado doesn't quite work. The DreamWorks one, because it's like, with songs by Elton John. It's like, yeah, but they've not been tweaked to fit the stories. They're just kind of there.
Well.
This is the same time Disney was doing what they do later on with a certain Mr. Collins, but we'll see.
The only reason I say it's overrated is because it's just a little bit of pushback on my part to go, yeah,
calm your tits, world.
It's great, but it's not. I don't think it's the best thing Disney have ever made, and I think the 3 movies we've just talked about are superior. But I understand that it is a very important movie to a lot of people, and the stage version, I think, has been important for providing more providing more opportunities to theatre actors of African descent.
So what you're saying is, Matt, you don't like Shakespeare, is what you're saying? Because it's based on Hamlet!
Yeah, Hamlet's fucking too long, mate.
Yeah, so...
To be fair, this doesn't have that problem.
Put a talking meerkat in it.
Yeah, put a talking meerkat in it.
Whee!
Yeah, Lion King's great, but it's
a great cast, and Matthew Broderick.
But a great cast, but Matthew
Broderick. And again, James Earl Jones giving possibly again one of the most iconic animated characters,
which he's about to give again.
Yeah, which is so pointless. I mean, the whole Lion King remake is pointless, but the fact that you've also brought back James Earl Jones is sort of pointless.
I think I'm letting my feelings on the remake sort of colour my feelings on the original.
Oh gee, maybe after the remake, which we'll have to inevitably watch, you'll probably rewatch the original and have a newfound appreciation for it.
Yeah,
just because it's the better of the 2 fucking versions that exist on screen.
Well,
also Nathan Lane as Timon. Just saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
Why? When he was a young warthog.
When I was a young warthog.
Very nice. Thanks. I enjoy it a lot. I think Scar again keeping in with the really fucking entertaining villains. Jeremy, but shouldn't have father. Don't marry his son.
Don't open that kind of dicks.
He's pretty damn great in it. And also we get Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed, the hyenas. I found out Ed's being renamed in the new one.
Why?
Because they're stupid. But he's also being played by Eric Andre, so maybe they're giving him more lines. Instead of, if I remember correctly, Frank Welker? Is it Frank Welker?
Frank Welker, and Frank Welker.
It's got to be Frank Welker, surely.
He's definitely got some...
No, it's Jim Cummings! Jim Cummings is Ed. He's also the singing voice of Scar from the second to last verse onwards of Be Prepared. Because Jeremy Irons blew his voice out.
Oh.
I mean, they could have just dubbed Irons in again later, surely.
Well.
But whatever. And Rowan Atkinson as Zazu, lest we forget.
Oh, yes, Rowan Atkinson is in that.
Let's have an email, Matthew
I'm going to the emails now, but Matthew I've closed my app and I can't find
That's alright, I'll bring up a couple of little tweets.
Give us a couple of tweets while I find a good email.
Abby Demi 96, how you doing? Says, I can't even answer that one. I have a Disney sleeve started on my leg because I love it so much. Yeah, I can't pick one. Fair enough. Pixar didn't happen, Abby. We want to see the sleeve. The Lion King all the way, says Miles Taylor. I'm biased because it was a childhood favourite, but watching it again, blimey, it's good. Simba
I have to
finding
watch it again. Maybe.
Simba finding Mufasa dead may be Disney's most heart-wrenching moment.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
And that score is spellbinding. Plus, Jeremy Irons a Scar, best villain ever. Matt Moir says, Lion King or Hunchback by far. They're very different, but tell compelling stories and have very compelling characters. And Ewan the Shadow Master.
The Shadow Master!
It's Aladdin, purely because of the genie, and I feel it's got a memorable plot and catchy songs. A guilty pleasure, though, is Robin Hood, for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
Good picks. Good picks all in all, folks.
This one comes in from Danny.
Hey, Danny. Danny.
And Danny says, good afternoon, my fine, big, damn peoples. I'm approaching this question from a slightly different angle. My absolute favourite Disney animation is The Lion King.
Okay.
But that is a more common answer, so I'm going to talk about my second place pick. Treasure Planet.
Okay, yeah. Treasure Planet did get a little bit of love in Twitter, as we shall discover.
I've never seen it.
You bastard.
I'd aged out of Disney by this point. I was a sulky teenager.
That does tend to get you.
Towards the end of the Renaissance, I've got a bit of a blind spot.
My baby cakes.
Treasure Planet is an underrated masterpiece that screams passion project like this. Passion project!
Millie just perked her ears up in fear.
Yeah, I bet she did. The futuristic adaptation of the classic story, given a few tweaks and a suitably sci-fi action finale, reinvents a well-worn tale and elevates it to do something new and exciting.
Yeah.
The voice cast are perfect. I say Emma Thompson as the feline captain, maybe my favourite Disney character ever.
Ooh.
The blend of CGI elements with traditional hand-drawn animation gives a glimpse of what I dearly wish Disney had chosen as their modern technique instead of the shift over to pure CG animation. You and me both, Danny.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the computer-generated elements have aged somewhat, but they now appear stylised. The simplicity in comparison to modern graphics complements the hand-drawn elements in a way that couldn't have been predicted when the film was produced. The emotional core of the film between Jim and Silver is perfectly written, with the final moments on screen never failing to make me cry. I would also like to nominate Morph as the cutest Disney companion. Thank you for bearing with the long email, your friend and constant listener.
Danny Nil You Fret. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny.
Some damn fine nominations. I noticed no one has brought up Pocahontas. AKA the history writing slaughter movie.
Problematic.
Now again, beautiful music in places. Not every soundtrack has constant bangers.
Probably nearly every female actress with a song portfolio has had Colours in the Wind in it at some point.
Yeah. Which again, beautiful song.
Good song.
Savages is upsetting, but in context it works and is again an impressive vocal arrangement. Some stunning visuals, but this is weird because this is the first one where they tried to realism. They tried to do a realistic approach to the leads in terms of their design,
Which is ironic considering they didn't take a realistic approach to the subject matter.
Oh snap! But do you know what I mean? Like Pocahontas and John Smith, like they're all drawn as like, hey, these are what people look like, aren't they? Sexy. Let's make them sexy. Let's make them real sexy. And yet the other characters around them are goofy, cartoony as fuck anyway.
Yeah.
Like Governor, what's his face? Is it Governor
Twat Biscuit?
Yeah, the villain who's not great. Who's sort of like the really weak link of the Renaissance villains. What's his name?
Clunge Drip.
Governor Ratcliffe. Voiced by the wonderful David Ogden Stiers. Who was Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Not a great villain. Not a brilliant movie. Just...
For me, it's the dip. That's the dip in the Renaissance.
Yeah, well, most would agree with you that the next film continues the dip, but I really don't.
What's the next one?
The Hunchback.
Oh, fuck yeah! Hunchback's... We've covered this. Hunchback's fucking great.
It's incredible.
It's fucking great.
Where to begin? Phoebus, Esmeralda, beautifully animated and performed. Quasimodo, the most fucking sympathetic and kind-hearted through just his motion before he even speaks character in the Disney canon. Gorgeous, vulnerable vocal performance.
Yeah. It does sanitize aspects of the original novel.
Oh, absolutely.
Granted.
Absolutely. But Frollo.
Witchcraft!
Tony Jay, in one of several Disney roles over the years, but that's his most prominent. Frollo is an incredible villain. And as discussed in the earlier email, he's a villain driven by his faith. That's a bold move for a studio based in a country that is still primarily quite religious.
Yeah.
Like, that is a bold damn move to be like, the God guy, he's the villain.
It's a big take that to fundamental Christianity.
Gorgeous score. Clopan.
So good.
Topsy Turvy Day. Court of Miracles. Out There. Hellfire. God Help the Outcasts. Heaven's Light. And, of course, not forgetting The Bells of Notre Dame.
Just one of the best Disney openings.
It's stunning. There is a blotch on this.
What's the blotch?
And that is Victor, Hugo, and what's-her-face? What are they called? Victor, Hugo, and Laverne. Played by Charles Kimbrough, Jason Alexander, Mary Wicks, and a little bit of Jane Withers, respectively.
Yes.
Their performances are fine. Their performances are fine. But beyond the first 10 minutes, the gargoyles are an element that really does make this a tough watch for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because of Genie Syndrome. This is the point where they're like, we need wacky sidekicks who can do big visual, magical, musical numbers. The only song... It's a good song on its own, but when you put it up in that film, A Guy Like You doesn't work. On its own, it's great. It's a really funny musical number. It's got some terrible rhymes in it, but it's by a character who says terrible jokes. And though you're shaped like a Quisonus...
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Like, Mondure above, she's gotta love a guy like you. Like, it works, but not in that film. Take it out and put it in something else, please. Thank you very much. Also, it works... Characters work well up until the 15th, 16th minute, because up to that point, you believe that they are literally in Quasi's head. They are gargoyles he uses to talk to. But then they start interacting with things.
Yeah.
Like, one of them fancies the goat for reasons. They start throwing things off during the fight at the end. And it's like, oh, they're alive then. That kind of ruins the point of them.
I want to fuck that goat.
He basically does. Yeah. He wants to fuck the goat.
I mean, who doesn't want to fuck that goat?
I'm losing to a bird! Terrible. Terrible. They are the one blotch on what is essentially Disney's darkest and quite possibly most magnificent work, I think.
It is beautiful.
It's a stunning film. And, if you look very closely, the cameos have started at this point. In Aladdin, the Beast is one of the toys on the Sultan's Tower. In this one, if you look very carefully, Belle is walking out of the courtyard in front of Notre Dame toward the beginning.
Very good.
So they've started doing the little references now. Up next, this divides a lot of people. I have a soft spot for it.
Why?
It's stupid, but I don't mind. I have one question for you.
What?
Who put the glad in Gladiator?
Hercules!
Ron Clements and John Musker return to direct, which is probably why it works.
Bless my soul, Herc was on a roll.
It's another week in every Greek opinion poll. What a pro. Herc can stop a show. Porn and metal monster and you're talking SRO. Again, the soundtrack. Amazing. Out There is from Hunchback. What's this one called?
I have often dreamed.
Yeah, what's it called? Oh my god,
How about far,
oh my
Go the
god.
Distance.
Go the Distance. Fuck me sideways. Roger Bart is the vocals for Young Hercules.
Yeah, Michael Bolton did a version of it.
It's the tie-in single.
Tie-in single.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode
when
on
I
the credits
go
versions.
the distance, I'll be right where I belong. Oh, it's so good.
I love this. All the things so far I've said, like, in this database, based on this novel, based on this fairy tale, based on this historical person, based on Hercules, Greek myth. Very much. Hercules is... I love it because I kind of get it.
It's fucking great. Gong!
Oh! You go, girls. I love it because I get it. It's a sports movie and a superhero movie.
Yes.
But it's also a Disney musical. Like, it's not a Disney animated musical. It's a sports film and a superhero film. It's got some weird, mean-spirited shit going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, James Woods is in it.
James Woods being in it. But the thing is, in the context of this product, Hades, James Wood, that performance, great.
Yeah.
Weirdly, it's part of that creepy shit that was going on with Katzenberg and everything in the late 90s. Hades is an impression of Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Oh.
Yeah. Katzenberg had gone by this point. Or was on his way out. And James Wood didn't like him. So the impression was that. Hades was originally a lot more musical theatre, grandiose.
Fucking hell. If James Woods doesn't like you,
you must be.
you must be a shitheel.
Or
Or
a really good person.
Yeah, one of the two.
Because it's James Woods.
I think we know where Katzenberg falls on that, though.
I love this. I love Megara. Meg is brilliant.
Yeah.
Pain and Panic are a lot of fun visually.
I even like Danny DeVito as Pan.
As Phil.
Phil.
As Pan. Philatides.
He is a fawn. That's why I think Pan.
You want to be a hero, kid, then. Whoop-de-doo.
I like that.
I've been around the block
I know
before
some
with
people
blockheads just like you.
Some people peg him as an example of genie syndrome, but I think he's good in this.
He works fine, I think. It's a nice part. Pegasus is great.
Yeah.
As a visual. It's beautifully done. Some gorgeous animations, very cartoony style. Cameo from Scar's hide. He's posing in it. When he's posing for his portrait, he's wearing Scar's hide.
Nice.
The Titans are a great design.
Mm-hmm.
Rip Torn, the criminal. Zeus is very entertaining.
The Hydra.
Oh my god. Now this is where they really start dabbling with the CGI.
Yeah.
And it works because the CGI takes on the design of the 2D animation.
Yes.
The Hydra's beautiful.
I love the angular designs in this.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. You'd be using sort of Greek urns and plate designs as the basis for the character designs. Like the curl of the chin is done with a curl.
Yeah.
And the literal Greek chorus.
Yes.
On the pottery of the muses.
Yeah, the muses are fabulous.
I'd like to make some sweet music. Our first story starts in... God, it's so good. I know a lot of people don't love it, but I love it. It's great.
Yeah, Hercules is fucking great.
I'm not familiar with this next one.
Okay.
Mulan.
I'm not that familiar with Mulan.
Lucy fucking loves Mulan. And I need to sit down and rewatch it, because I think I've only ever seen it once. But I remember as a kid figuring out their formula by this point.
Yeah.
Specifically the sidekick.
Fuck Eddie Murphy.
I mean, if we have to.
Yeah, I don't.
I'd like to at least, have some wine first.
I'm not interested in Eddie Murphy's Dragon Man.
Dragon! I don't do that tongue thing. But I remember liking it. I remember thinking the visuals were amazing. I remember thinking that our villain, who is...
People like it.
Is what his name, right? The hell's his name? Shan Yu.
Also,
is frightening. Yes?
Let us not forget that Captain Hero Man.
Captain Li Shang.
Yeah.
BD Wong.
Also...
Donny Osmond.
Is confused by the fact that he likes Mulan as much as Ping.
Yeah. And they don't make a thing of that as well, which is kind of brilliant. They don't make a thing of...
Oh.
Mostly because they go into that traditional fairy tale thing of, let's not discuss sexuality and personal, sort of assessment.
But as a side...
It's aged better as a result.
As a result of that, it's the sort of implied bisexuality age has been like, oh, okay. Alright.
Interesting facts about this. Jackie Chan provided the voice of Li Shang in all 3 Chinese versions and appeared in the version of promotional music videos of I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Yeah, there is
also the singing voice
of
Li Shang in the Chinese releases.
And it is pretty fucking good.
Ming Na Wen as Mulan.
Ming Na Wen.
But specifically Leah Salonga as her singing voice.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
She is the singing voice of Mulan and Jasmine.
Yeah, Leah Salonga's great.
God, there's so many people. George Takei is the first ancestor. I didn't realise that. God, the voice cast of this is actually amazing. When you look at it.
Yeah. Because this is when they started really spending money on the voice cast.
But also, in terms of the ethnicity of the voice cast, there's not a lot of people pretending to be the characters. Like the characters with a straight up American accent are American actors for the most part, but they've gone for actors of Chinese American or Chinese heritage.
Yeah,
which is good. Reflection is from this one, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
Good film. I need to introduce myself to it a bit more. We're moving into the modern era, Matt.
Can't wait.
with 1999's Tarzan.
I checked out by
really
this point.
like Tarzan. Have you seen Tarzan?
I've never seen Tarzan. I had checked out of 99, so I would have only been 11. But
After the battles in Mulan,
it just wasn't doing it for me anymore.
after the battles in Mulan, Tarzan is the first action adventure straight up. Like, it's not a musical. There is music in it. Phil Collins provided songs for the film which score the events of the movie as it goes on, and they do work. They're all pretty great. But this is an action film with a romantic core to it.
Yeah,
I urge you to check this.
I remember seeing the
out.
trailers for it. I really like the animation style.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
And Phil Collins did the music for it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, but it's still beautiful.
Oh, fuck you! Phil Collins is great!
I had to get that in there, though. Tony Goldwyn is Tarzan. Excellent bloody... I've just read something that I never knew. I'll get back to it in a moment.
Okay.
Tony Goldwyn is Tarzan. Minnie Driver is Jane Porter. You said you said that Ariel was your first cartoon crush.
Jane for you.
Jane for me.
Yeah.
And I would argue, still have a bit of a crush on Jane. She's fucking adorable, and it's just such a great performance. And this is something I love as well. The scene where Jane describes meeting Tarzan for the first time to her father and Clayton was improvised by Driver, resulting in Ken Duncan animating one of the longest animated scenes on record.
Jesus.
It's not a huge scene, but it's just the consistency.
Yeah.
And Daddy, they took my boot. It's so... Those are the ones I bought you. I was saved by a flying wild man in a loincloth. Loincloth, good lord. It's just so freaking good. Glenn Close as Carla, Tarzan's adoptive mother. She's beautiful in this, wonderful performance. Lance Henriksen as Kerchak. He's great in this, and it made me think that Lance Henriksen should do more animation. Brian Blessed as Clayton.
Motherfucking Blessed.
As Clayton, one of the fiercest Disney villains.
Well, my exposure to Tarzan is pretty much limited to the Kingdom Hearts world.
Oh, so you've heard him talking.
I know, yes, I'm familiar with Clayton from that.
Basing his design, they based his design on Clark Gable and other film stars of the 30s and 40s, which you get in sort of the stature of the walk.
Yeah.
Nigel Hawthorne as Professor Archimedes Q. Porter. He's freaking great. This was Hawthorne's final voice acting role before his death in 2001. Rosie O'Donnell as Turk. Don't be fooled, she's pretty damn charming in it. Wayne Knight as Tantor, which is great. Eric Von Detten and Jason Marsden as Flint and Mungo, who are two of the gorillas. But here's something I just learned from reading this that I didn't know before. Tarzan's yell.
Yes.
So Tony Goldwyn's Tarzan.
Yeah.
Tarzan's yell was provided by Brian Blessed. I had no idea.
Can you imagine?
That's incredible. I mean, obviously, if you've got Brian Blessed on your cast and you need some yelling, maybe ask him to do some yelling for you.
Yeah, just get in the studio for that. It's like, Brian, all right, here's a microphone.
That was just my warm-up.
Only want to go for a take, do you?
Oh god, Tarzan's alive. Also, one of the grimmest Disney villain deaths. And I won't spoil it for you. I want you to watch it. One of the grimmest Disney villain deaths. Also, Disney's most expensive animated film until Treasure Planet as well. Tarzan was not hugely well received at large critically.
No, this is where it started winding down for
I
them.
think that's because it deviated from the musical formula.
Yeah.
It invented tree surfing as a concept.
Sure.
It's got some damn fine action. It's got a secondary villain in the form of Sabor, who's a leopard, who's fucking terrifying. Mm-hmm. It's got the tensest opening sequence of a Disney movie. Please watch it. In fact, if you promise to bring it back next week and give us your thoughts on the podcast, you can borrow it today.
I can't promise that, but I think it's on Now TV.
It's 90 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just sacrifice a good poo. Don't have a good poo and watch Tarzan
You have
instead.
no idea how integral a good poo is to my day running smoothly.
Like a good poo. Speaking of a good poo, should we check out a couple more emails before we move into the 2000s?
Yeah, absolutely.
Over on the Twitter sphere, John, Ginger Animator, sounds familiar, says, why has no one here stated the obvious and clear winner? Basil the Great Mouse Detective, complete with a gif of Rattigan tap dancing. But then a similar John has said,
Nice.
Don's moustache. It is I, a different John here, to proclaim that the best is in fact Treasure Planet. Good day, sirs. Huff, huff, huff.
Very good. Very good.
And also,
opinions.
Tom Dix boosts that. Sorry, Tom Dix boosts that. Saying, aside from The Lion King, I've got to say Treasure Planet wins. It's the most underrated Disney movie. Not only does it look amazing, but it has Emma Thompson voicing a space cat, and it has the greatest comic character in any Disney movie, Ben. More people need to watch it. Not sure I agree with you on the Ben thing, Tom, but it has taken me years to warm up to Martin Short. So maybe on a revisit I'll like Ben a bit more. But it's a funny gif of a complete CGI character, hand-drawn, animated, over the top of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Me.
I need to check out Treasure Planet, don't I?
It is great.
This one comes in from George.
Hiya, you're hey.
There's some other stuff in here which I'm going to save for another day because it's questiony stuff that's not related to our Disney topics.
Sorry, George.
But
Next time.
In terms of Disney stuff, yeah, we've got a couple of emails that we're not going to get to all of, if at all, this week because they're not Disney related. This one comes in from George saying, "Greetings, big damn lads. I write to you, having seen your summons to devoted audience to tell their favourite animated Disney films." I mangled that, didn't I? Just like Minnie's mangling my hoodie right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's fine, I don't mind.
Send the bill to Minnie.
No, she likes to have a chew, so let her have a chew. As long as it's not my fingers. While I'm a fan of the classics, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, etc., I myself find favour in the following 3 films. Treasure Planet, Mulan, and my all-time favourite, I think you're going to get kicked out of this one, Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Fuck yes.
I hope this doesn't break the rules
of combat.
And we'll get to your other questions next week, George, because I do want to talk about them.
Thanks, Jorge.
And finally from the emails, again, we're going to table some of this emails for next week because interesting stuff. This one comes in from friend of the show, star of Stage and Screen, Charlie.
Hello, Charlie!
Says, "Hello, my lovely boys." I don't know why he's doing it in that voice. I don't think I'm alone in saying that the Disney company's back catalogue makes up a large and significant part of my cultural upbringing. I was born in the late 80s, the same year The Little Mermaid came out and the Disney Renaissance of the 90s began. Arguably one of the best pre-world dominating periods the company ever had. The first film, Disney or otherwise, I ever saw at the cinema was Aladdin. I've been hopelessly in love with it ever since. I think you mean Jasmine. I struggle to divorce the sentimental...
Come on, I mean, you've seen his smile, right?
Oh.
You've seen that gif doing the rounds all week of him doing the whole, like, hand behind his neck thing. It's like, damn. Aladdin. Aladdin, I'm just saying it now. Aladdin could get it. Carry on.
I struggle to divorce the sentimental from the real in this case. I think, like Chris, Robin Williams' performance subconsciously set me on a track to becoming a performer myself so very many years later. So I have a lot to personally thank / blame the film for in that regard. But yeah, more than that...
I've said a lot on social media recent weeks in the build-up to the remake coming out that Robin Williams' performance in the film introduced me to what voice acting was. Because I got it. As I grew up as a kid, I was like, oh my god, that's him! Like, I finally put it together.
Yeah, yeah.
And that started my fascination in voice acting and character acting specifically. So
nice.
I blame Aladdin too.
But more than that, it's just so good. The whole thing feels like lightning in a bottle and inherently unreplicatable. Yeah, pretty much. I think that The Lion King is more epic, and Beauty and the Beast is more worthy, in quotes. But Aladdin has lodged itself in my heart like a tick. And I doubt I'll ever let go. If you have a tick in your heart, that is a problem.
You should carve it out with a spoon!
Oh, no! There are also some other questions in there, which I want to get to next week, because they are, of course...
Juicy?
Really good questions. As Charlie always sends. But yeah. Yes. So we're at the end of the Renaissance now.
We're at the end of the Renaissance.
Let's rattle through these, because we're over the 2-hour mark. And
these next ones are technically in the Renaissance, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantasia 2000.
Fuck off.
It is not great. That is not the fault of the animation or necessarily the score.
Yeah, but it's not film though, is it?
No, but it's also very Michael Eisner in that it's full of celebrities. Celebrities appear in live action to link the different sections.
No.
And as a result, it takes away any charm.
No.
Though it does have some really cool visual set pieces. The CGI ones have dated more than the hand-drawn ones, of course.
Yes.
39. on the docket.
Jesus.
May 2000's release, Dinosaur. Dinosaur is a film. The next movie... I'll just briefly
I
talk about
don't
Dinosaur.
know shit about Dinosaur.
Dinosaur was their first fully CGI animated film in the
I
canon.
remember it coming out, never seen it.
It's basically like the story of the extinction and some dinosaurs moved.
It wasn't an invitation, Christopher!
D.B. Sweeney, Alfred Woodard, Ozzie Davis, Max Casella, Hayden Panettiere, Samuel E. Wright,
Next!
blah, 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 blah. It's fine. But it's also the birthed one of the most frightening theme park rides in Florida.
Okay.
The dinosaur ride in Florida is horrifyingly scary for a kid's ride. It's in Animal Kingdom. Go check it out and shit your pants, folks. Speaking of shit your pants...
That's a ringing endorsement.
The Emperor's New Groove. I do like this.
So there are lots of people who like this.
But this is where Disney starts to become DreamWorks.
Yeah, it completely passed me
It's
by.
really weird.
Yeah.
Do check it out. Animation, like the stylistic approach is great. Yzma is a freaking hilarious villain. Pull the lever! Wrong lever! She's played by Eartha Kitt, so you know what kind of insanity you're in for.
Yeah.
Her sort of dog's body Kronk, the lovable villain sidekick, is Patrick Warburton.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
In probably
sure,
his introduction to a lot of our generation and beyond.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
It's great. Even David Spade in the lead role is not bad. He's really good. John Goodman is great in it.
John Goodman, yeah, he's always a
On my face! Worth a watch. It is worth a watch. Tom Jones has the introductory song, basically summing up who Kuzco is. It's just this tiny little afroed thing just singing. Brilliant.
Sure.
It's a lot of fun, but it's not your typical Disney. But it was necessary because this is where the tone starts to change.
Yeah.
And the Disney movie as we know it starts to become less common. 41, Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
You love this movie, I've never seen it.
I love it so much. The story of Milo Thatch finding out that his grandfather's research into Atlantis is real. And Preston B. Whitmore, who's a contemporary of his grandfather, is like, I'm funding an expedition. You're going to go down there. We found some stuff. Go on it. So it's steampunky. It's very Jules Verne-y. Like, it's got all that kind of vibe going on. But the hand-drawn animation is stunning.
I need to see this.
My second animated crush came out of this one. Kida. Kuragakash. Kuragachnaga. She's great. Also, the first sort of... because this is a very celebrity-laden cast.
Yeah.
Not advertised as, but it is. But the main female lead, Kida, Kiragakesh, is played by Cree Summer, who's a voice acting legend. Like, she's like voice acting royalty.
Yes.
You know her from God knows what, like everything. Rugrats, Batman Beyond, Pinky and the Brain and Elmira. Like, she's been in everything. She's been in absolutely everything.
Very good.
And here she is as a lead, and she's brilliant. But the voice cast includes Michael J. Fox as Milo James Thatch.
Yeah.
James Garner as Commander Lyle Tiberius Rook, who visibly
That's a name.
is totally freaking modelled after Tommy Lee Jones. And he's a great villain. Don Novello as Vinny. Phil Morris as Dr. Sweet. Dr. Joshua Sweet. Claudia Christian as Helga, another great villain. Jacqueline... Oh, yeah, spoiler alert, they're both baddies. Jacqueline Albrador's Audrey, brilliant. Florence Stanley as Bertha, brilliant. Forget your jammies, Mrs. Packard? I sleep in the nude. Dr. Sweet hands him a blindfold and says, I want to wear these. She sleepwalks. David Ogden Stiers, again, in it as one of the members of the Smithsonian Institute, gets a lot of lines. John Mahoney as Preston B. Whitmore. Jim Varney as Cookie. I got your 4 basic food groups. Beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard. It's a great movie. Corey Burton as Mole. And Leonard Nimoy as the King of Atlantis. He's amazing in it. It's so good. CGI and animation blended beautifully. Yeah. It's an adventure film. It's a peril film. It's stunning. But it wasn't the Disney film that everyone was expecting. And as a result, Tarzan wasn't the palate cleanser that it needed to be.
No.
And this is where it started to lose people a little. Lilo and Stitch.
I love Lilo and Stitch.
Ohana means family.
I fucking love Lilo and
family
Stitch.
Means nobody gets left behind.
It's so sweet.
And again, This feels more like a reactive film. I know it's not, but it kind of feels like it. This feels like a reaction to The Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
okay.
we're going to tell a sci-fi story
Yeah.
through our studio instead. But the thing is, like The Iron Giant, it survives because of its heart. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the titular relationship is just so warming.
Co-directed and written by Chris Sanders. It's based on his unpublished 1985 children's book. Never let go of a bad idea, folks. You never know when it might actually get a chance to surface.
And it shines. It shines.
It's gorgeous. Experiment 626.
I think so.
Is that his designation? And again, one of the few ones that has and Chris Sanders voiced him as well.
Okay.
One of the few ones that has expanded into if you like Lilo and Stitch and you really love it, you have so much extra material to delve into, and a terrible ride. Not horrible, but it replaced something much cooler.
Wow.
Oh my God!
What?
Tia Carrera was what's it? Nani.
Is that Lilo's older sister?
Yeah. See, everyone thinks of him in General Hospital and stuff, but I immediately think of Wayne's World. And her name was Cassandra. David Ogden Stiers, again, he's Dr. Jumbo. It's just, Ving Rhames was Cobra!
Yeah,
of course he was! Oh my God, yeah. Kevin Michael Richardson is starring role as Captain Gantu. It's a great movie. It is great. And the visuals and Hawaii and everything's beautiful. I hesitate to let you know that the live-action remake is on its way. Ron Clements and John Musker, those beautiful, beautiful men that gave us Basil and Little Mermaid and Aladdin, all these beautiful projects they worked on, finally get to make their passion project. But by this point, the streak has gone and Disney aren't backing them as much as they should be. Treasure Planet, boys and girls. Based, of course, on Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson and Treasure Island in Outer Space, the Italian TV miniseries by Renato Castellini. This was their baby. They've been trying to get this made since the 80s. Treasure Planet is Treasure Island. We've seen it done a million times.
Yeah.
But if the Muppets have proved anything, a recontextualization of a classic tale can breathe new life into it.
And also, there's a reason why it's come up so often in what people have been saying to us.
Because a lot of our listeners are younger than us and grew up with this one, rather than us where we sort of had to seek it out if we wanted to watch it.
I missed Treasure Planet. I missed it. Like I said, I've got huge gaps in this period of Disney.
That's all because of the drinking. But
I started drinking.
at the age of 12, just
I started drinking at the age of 12.
But
It's a lie, I didn't.
You did.
I was 10.
But double digits, folks. Be sensible. It's a lot of things meant that this film didn't get the audience it probably should have gotten. I think Titan AE was probably part of that as well.
Yeah,
because
they were
around
kind
the same
of dueling
time.
movies, weren't they?
Yeah, and again, Titan AE, as we realise now, was the pilot for Firefly.
Yeah, I suppose.
But not as good as Firefly, but still. Treasure Planet is worth a look in, guys. It really, really is. And I say that because I'm a Disney fan who wasn't asked. And then in 2013, picked it up in a 2-for-1 DVD. Because they do that obviously every now and again. And was like, oh, go on. Well, Lucy and I watched it. And then watched it again the next day. So we're like, that is brilliant. Just a very quick skim of the voice cast to give you an idea of the talent coming into it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Jim Hawkins.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce is Dr. Delpit Doppler. Emma Thompson as Captain Amelia.
Yeah.
Martin Short as Ben. Brian Murray as John Silver. One of the most brilliantly layered, scare quotes, villains in Disney movies.
Yeah.
Tony Jay's the narrator because of course because he's great. Of course he's the narrator. He should narrate everything. But also, it's the steampunk, sci-fi, monstrous versions of the pirates and everything.
I feel like this
so
and,
cool.
and Atlantis
Like
are
John
visually
Silver's a
good in
cyborg.
pieces, yeah.
He's a cyborg, because he's lost his leg, sure, so he loses his leg and he's lost his arm, so he replaces him.
Yeah.
Of course he does. Steampunk. Pirates. And also Stitch makes an appearance as a stuffed toy on young Jim Hawkins' shelf.
Oh.
Brother Bear! I have never seen it.
I know nothing about Brother Bear other than it's Joaquin Phoenix is in it and it's about bears.
Yep.
Oh, well, boys that become bears.
It's also one of the last films Rick Moranis was in. Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas as Rut and Took, which makes sense because they were... what was their comedy double act? Oh my god, what was they called? They were.
I don't know.
Oh my god, they were known as something for ages. Oh my god, what were they called? They were Canadian sort of national treasures. Screwing hell, that's going to bug me. Bob and Doug McKenzie, that's it.
Okay.
So Bob and Doug McKenzie played two mooses in it, because why not?
Sure.
Home on the Range. I've seen this. I freaking hate it. It's just not. I mean, the tagline is "Bust a Moo."
Yeah, because this is as DreamWorks were rising to prominence, so they're trying to sort of edge in on that style, and it didn't suit them.
They're trying to get wackier, and as a result, it doesn't work.
No.
Also, you have a cast. This cast is such a mixed bag. Are you ready for this? I'll read you the first 5 names.
Okay.
Roseanne Barr, Judi Dench, Jennifer Tilly, Cuba Gooding Jr., Randy Quaid. So, don't bother. Chicken Little. Don't bother.
No.
My biggest memory of Chicken Little, I have seen it. It's not great.
I think I've seen it.
That's their second CGI from top to bottom one.
Yeah.
It's the story of Chicken Little, sort of. Like, I don't think it's the story of the skies falling. I think it's... Oh, that's it. It's an alien invasion is happening, but no one believes him because of the skies falling story.
Sure.
Because, of course. I hated that film before I even saw it. And I'll tell you why. I went to Disneyland Paris in 2005.
Yeah.
Disneyland Paris always do big showcases in the studio section of the big upcoming Disney releases.
Yeah.
Chicken Little was the upcoming release. So it was covered in Chicken Little stuff. I couldn't have given two shits. I wanted to see some classic animation stuff. So whenever I see its little face, I'm like, ugh. Meet the Robinsons! I've not seen this. Lucy swears by it.
Completely passed me by.
She says it's a lot of fun. It's a time travel story, as one can imagine.
Oh God!
Because of course it's a time travel story. It's sort of a take on A Day with Wilbur Robinson, the children's book.
Nope.
That's where it comes from. I'm really sorry. Lucy keeps ringing me, and I'm going to have to answer the phone. We're recording
God's
the podcast.
Sake.
Yes, I just text you to tell you that. But don't worry, it's in the middle of us talking about Meet the Robinsons.
Oh.
Now, you've seen Meet the Robinsons, haven't you? No? What's the one you've seen that I think is... I thought you'd seen Meet the Robinsons. Wait, is there a DreamWorks film that's kind of similar? Or am I getting confused?
Probably.
Disney film, Meet the Robinsons, the guy with the bowler hat. Bowler hat guy. Well, you're no help. You're on your way home. Oh, go on, what's the favourite?
Bear in mind, you are on microphone, even very quietly.
No one can hear you. You're on microphone very quietly. Matt, make la la noises.
I am making noises while I'm checking my emails. Checking my emails. Checking my emails. Minnie, are you asleep?
My battery's like about to die, so let me know how much now, and I'll do it now. But I've got
Menu.
to use my phone for information while we record. Okay, right. I love you. Yeah, love you. Bye. You're going to have to talk about the next film because I need to use my phone.
Oh, what is the next film?
Bolt.
I can't talk about Bolt.
I've not seen it either. Screw Bolt!
It came out while I was working at Blockbuster.
Oh my
God. It was a tie-in game, and that's all I know about it.
Well, we'll dip to a couple tweets quickly before we do the final stretch. Dan Sherritt.
Dan?
Has to be Aladdin for me. The film is surrounded by amazing, unforgettable characters, not just Robin's mesmerising genie, but also includes the best Disney villain. Yes. Oh, but also Hercules and Aristocats.
Yes.
Jack Goldsworthy doesn't give any reasons, he just puts Fantasia.
No!
To be fair, Fantasia's the only one to feature the devil.
Chernabog.
Yeah.
Not the devil.
Not in Ball Mountain.
Different gods.
And Alex Gilston, hello, says, well, because people have already mentioned Lion King and Treasure Planet, I have to go with my other favourite. Big Hero 6.
Oh.
Matthew Erogenous Zone Watson. What know you of The Princess and the Frog?
Only that you keep telling me to watch it and I've still not watched it.
Right. Princess and the Frog was Disney's first dip back into hand-drawn
They're
animation.
only one.
Pretty much, yeah. To this day, it's
today.
the only, as far as feature length go. Well, Winnie the Pooh after that, but we didn't get that one over.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I have seen some of it, and we will touch on it. Craig Ferguson plays Owl. Which is hilarious because his teenage best mate Peter Capaldi plays Rabbit in Christopher Robin. As you do. So, Princess and the Frog is amazing. Not just because of it being hand-drawn, or return to hand-drawn animation, but because the score is brilliant, the songs are brilliant. I am such a sucker for Alan Menken's involvement, Tim Rice, Howard Ashman lyrics. This is not them. This is Randy Newman.
Oh!
Most associated with Disney, of course, because of the Toy Story films and Bug's Life. And that brilliant bit where Will Sasso plays him in an Honest Trailers video. He's like, there's a bug! Tiny bug! There's a bug!
Left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot.
Fat man with his kids and dog. Going through the morning fog. Hey there, Rover. Come on over. Randy Newman brings his unique blend of lyricism to Princess and the Frog with varying results. None of the songs are bad.
You really like the villain song.
Oh my god, Matt, I shit you not, it's the best villain song. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me for how.
Poor Unfortunate Souls is great, but it only works in context of the scene.
Okay.
Yeah? Prince Ali Reprise is all we get. It's great, but it's not a full song. Gaston is sung by people to him. Be prepared. Yeah, it's alright. Hellfire, amazing. But it's not a villain song. It's not a I'm the villain song. Etc, etc, etc. Friends on the Other Side is Keith David singing about being a voodoo magician who's going to make your desires come true for a price.
Desires?
Yeah. But all that, was it? All the fancy living takes green. It's the green, it's the green, it's the green you'll need. And when I look into your future, it's the green that I see. Because, of course, he turns him into a frog. Yes. Facilier the Shadow Man is one of Disney's best villains, and not everyone knows about him because no one's watched Princess and the Frog. People! Go and watch Princess and the Frog!
Well, that's why they didn't make any more hand-drawn ones, because no one watched Princess and the Frog.
Which sucks. People are dicks. Go and watch it, guys. Go and buy it en masse, because it's beautiful. It is absolutely stunning.
I've been saying I'll give it a watch for the best part of a decade at this point.
Well, we're going to have to force you.
Okay.
Anika Noni Rose is Tiana, who is amazing and is finally getting used a lot more in the princess marketing banner. Bruno Campos is Prince Naveen, who's charismatic and hilarious as fuck. Michael Leon Woolley is Lewis, a friendly, neurotic, trumpet-playing alligator whose dream is to become a human so he can join a jazz band. That is genuinely the plot, and it works. Jim Cummings gets his first starring role in a Disney movie, outside of Winnie the Pooh stuff, as Ray, who's a Cajun Firefly,
yes,
who is freaking adorable.
You told me about
Keith
Ray.
David is Dr. Facilier, and he's amazing.
Keith David!
And you better watch it. You better put on the Princess and the Frog glasses or start eating that trash can. Jennifer Cody as Lottie and John Goodman as Big Daddy are brilliant. Jennifer Lewis as Mama Odie, who's an old as fuck voodoo priestess living in the bayou, is amazing. Peter Bartlett as Lawrence is a really funny sort of character performance that is hilarious without the animation. You can close your eyes, listen to his lines, and think they're brilliant. It's just enhanced by the visuals.
Yes.
And a bunch of other amazing voice actors are all involved, and it's great. And you all need to watch it. Princess and the Frog. Go watch it now, you dirts.
Princess.
7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Tangled. Tangled is so far the only one of the CGI animated ones that I sort of think captures the Disney spirit.
Tangled is really fucking good.
Again, down to the songs, the classic themes coming back and everything, but Tangled, you can imagine Tangled in 2D and it not losing anything, nor gaining anything. It just stays the same kind of magic. It would work well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Mandy Moore, Zachary Levi.
Yes.
Donna Murphy, especially. Ron Perlman's in that one as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Stabbington brothers. As you are. Oh, no, hang on. No. He's the one who speaks. Of course. I thought it was two separate ones, but apparently only one of them ever opens his damn mouth.
Tangled is great.
It's gorgeous and beautiful and stunning, and the songs are amazing. And,
Yes, they
Rapunzel is one of the most instantly likable, adorable characters ever. It's also got Pascal in it. And what is the name of the horse? Because he's the best damn thing in the world. What's the damn name of the horse? Maximus. Maximus is brilliant. That is one of the best character animations ever. 2011's Winnie the Pooh. It's pretty damn great. I do encourage you to watch it.
Didn't see it.
It's not counted in the UK. Wreck-It Ralph.
I really like Wreck-It Ralph.
Hit me, because I've still not watched it.
It's again going back to
Do you some water, by the way?
No, I'm just the mucus in my eyes is very thick. My allergies are kicking.
Well, that's the name of the episode.
Yes. Wreck-It Ralph, like Lilo and Stitch, that at the core of it and why it works so well is the relationship between Ralph and Vanellope, which is two misfits bouncing off each other in a way that simultaneously brings out the worst and the best of them and helps them both to realise their dreams and who they are and what they can offer to other people. It's two broken people helping to fix each other. It's a really, really sweet movie. And also, Alan Tudyk's great in it. And also, the subplot with Fix-It Felix and the soldier lady whose Jane Lynch plays, whose name I cannot recall.
Sergeant Jean Calhoun.
Sergeant Calhoun is just fabulous. The visual inventiveness of the different video game worlds that they visit is astounding. Some great gags in the Sugar Rush world, which is like the major location of the movie. It's the candy themed kart racer that Vanellope originates from. Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy that gets longer as it laughs. It's very good. Yeah. Wreck-It Ralph is good fun with a very sweet heart. However, the cynicism of the sequel has not led me to led to me not seeking it out. Unfortunately.
I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry.
You should be sorry.
I'm so sorry.
They'll all be sorry, Chris.
Do you know what I'm sorry
What?
for? The fact that, I'm sorry guys, I don't love our next entry, particularly. It's Frozen.
I really like Frozen. I came to it...
Get out.
I came to it a lot later than the initial rush of love.
Oh, rush of love.
The fact that it was everywhere for about 3 years. I came to it later than that, but I watched it on Christmas Day a couple of years back, and I'm not afraid to admit that I shed a tear.
Oh.
And it's a good Disney film.
It started a trend that I don't enjoy, though, in Disney and Pixar's, which is the surprise villain.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's something that's after the Renaissance. I think we were spoiled in the Renaissance by really good villains and baddies, and that sort of stops around here. It's a shame, because I kind of want to see some more baddies. I mean, even King Candy, from what I've seen, is a pretty horrific body horror style villain at one point.
Oh yeah, the stuff that Alan
and also an impression of Ed Wynn.
The stuff that Alan Tudyk does with King Candy and Wreck-It Ralph is top notch.
That's when he sticks around as well. After that, he's like in every
he's a Disney go-to now. Yeah,
he's the delegate, whatever his name is, the one that they butt heads with in Frozen.
Yes.
So he's starting to stick around. He returns again in the next one, another film with a surprise villain, but I'll forgive it because, like, at least it's got a villain.
Oh.
Big Hero 6.
Beautiful. I watched this again recently, and with, of course, two young boys in the company of two young lads.
So you haven't just kidnapped
them.
them.
No.
Yeah.
Because I spend a lot of time with the kids in my friends and family circles. And yeah, just the way it deals with grief
Mm.
and managing it, all the while being a colourful and exciting action superhero movie, but then coming back round to the themes at the centre of it, and that very human core. I think since Tangled, I think this is what they've been aiming for, is to hit this emotional core with their animated movies, and I think this is the one. This one really knocks it out of the park. Also, fucking Baymax is amazing.
Yeah. Oh Christ. Yeah.
Just such a great character. So disarming and warm, and he's a big cushion. He's a cushion, but he's a cushion with personality. I love Big Hero 6. I love it. So again, it's one of the few I've got on Blu-ray.
Are you satisfied with your care?
Oh, fuck. I mean, I'm teary anyway because of the dog
And the eye mucus, as
And the eye
previously
mucus.
described.
but just the. Oh, it's heart wrenching. And spoilers for Big Hero 6. It's at the end where he's forcing Hero to leave him behind.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
It's heartbreaking. I love it. I love Big Hero 6.
Also, Anti-Cast would get it. Zootopia.
Oh yeah, 'cause it's Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'm attracted to funny women. Speaking
Speaking
of funny women and furries, Zootopia.
Oh!
Judy Hopps, the character that spawned 1,000 more filthy deviant art accounts.
This one is great.
Jennifer Goodwin's got such a wonderful spelling to her name. But yeah, Jennifer Goodwin as Judy Hopps and Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde in an anthropomorphized take on a cop story. But everything about it is, and we over here, for those of you who are listening in the UK going, Zootopia, what's that? Zootropolis.
Zootropolis in the States, yeah.
No, Zootropolis over here because they didn't think the UK audience would get Zootopia.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I always get it mixed
You know, the same way with the Smallville, Lois and Clark.
I
thing.
always get it mixed up which way around it is. I know it's Utopia in one, Zootropolis in the other. But yes.
It's so weird that happened. But yeah, it's again, this is dark.
It is really dark.
It's a buddy cop noir movie. It's really dark.
The way that it
Deals
sort
with
of
drugs and murder.
Yeah,
and
it is
kidnap.
literally drugs inciting the predators in these in this food chain arrangement to be given to their baser savage instincts. It's awesome.
Annoyingly, surprise villain. But apart from that, it's such a
I
well
don't get
realized
annoyed
world.
by that in the same way that you do.
Nah, I like my baddies.
Because you can always see them coming anyway.
Can you?
Yeah.
That's filthy. Do you have to pay extra?
No. Who is it in this one? It's Jenny Slate, so ooh, dodgy. Idris Elba is a buffalo.
Oh my god, who's the cop who's a big cheater?
No, I can't remember.
Oh my god, hang on. Nate Torrance as Benjamin Clawhauser.
Look, the thing...
That character
That's
is
good.
freaking adorable.
The thing that is great about...
And J.K. Simmons as the mayor, Leodore Lionheart.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that's great about Zootopia...
And Alan Tudyk as Duke Weaselton.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Zootopia / Zootropolis is... It comes down to... And this is why... This is, I think, the kind of thing that might be lost in hand-drawn animation that they get with CGI because of the consistency of assets.
Yeah.
Instead of having to draw every cell, once you create a model, you can reuse that in some way. So what it allows them to do is to really densely pack this world with really well thought out, entertaining, satisfying, funny sight gags and like visual not jokes because that's just a sight gag, but just the way the world works is so satisfying to watch.
Yeah. The execution of it is brilliant.
And it's just a universe that's full of so much charm and ingenuity in its execution. And Yeah, it's so densely packed. Every frame is so densely packed with clever shit.
Shakira's tie-in song is also not horrible.
Okay.
And the film, of course, was remade in 2019 as Detective Pikachu. We're on to the last two current ones of the Disney Pictures canon. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, you're
Change
not wrong.
my mind.
You're not wrong. That's the great thing. That's what makes it even funnier.
I think this is the last one we've both seen.
Okay.
And it's Moana. Make way, make way.
Want to talk about...
Moana, it's time you knew.
Again, going back to
to
Lilo and Stitch, going back to Wreck-It Ralph, going back to... there's an element of this... Shush. Shush, I'm being a film critic. It's so good, though. The soundtrack is fucking incredible in this film. There's even an element of this in Big Hero 6. It is the relationship between two outcasts, two misfits.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and the buddy movie, the buddy road trip movie, essentially in this one.
Yeah,
it's a quest film.
Two people who are missing something, and they don't know what they're missing. They think they know what they're missing and what it is they want, but they help each other find it, almost by accident.
Yeah.
Also, Jermaine Clement plays a fucking giant gem-encrusted crab. What the fuck more do you want from a film?
Oli Cravalho played Moana. At the time,
fucking fantastic.
At the time, she was like 14 when she started recording it.
She's so good.
Her voice is incredible. She also played the role in the Hawaiian language version of the movie too.
Yes.
Because again, with this one, they cast with the ethnicity of its cast members in mind.
Yeah.
To make sure that this was not, just sort of they focused on Polynesian people of Polynesian descent.
Yeah.
Including Dwayne Johnson as Maui. One of those beautiful marriages of, we want a big name that we're not necessarily, because it wasn't advertised on the back of The Rock.
Yeah.
But the world knows The Rock right now. We all know Dwayne Johnson. We hear his voice, we know it's him. It's that beautiful marriage of the performer and the animation working together. Also down to Lin-Manuel Miranda's songs.
Yeah.
Because when he knew that Dwayne Johnson was playing Maui, he instantly knew, this is hilarious, he instantly knew that, going back into my trivia, I'm so sorry, I'll try to get it short.
No, please do.
He instantly knew what Dwayne Johnson's vocal range was because he remembered a WWF bit where The Rock picked up a guitar and mockingly sang something at Stone Cold.
Brilliant.
To take the piss out of him.
Brilliant.
He remembered that moment as a wrestling fan so vividly that he figured out Dwayne's range. Because Dwayne was unsure. That was the one thing he was nervous about with the role, was the singing. Because he liked to sing, but he never really sang as part of a job. And he came along, he heard the demo, and he went, I can do this. And then Miranda was like, yeah, of course you can. I wrote it with you completely in mind.
Yeah.
I figured out what your range was. He was like, okay. And You're Welcome is... I was going to say it's the breakout song of the movie, but it's not.
No, the breakout song of the...
It's the karaoke song of the movie.
It's one of the greatest moments in the history of Disney's animated canon. And this is not a goat. This is completely sincere.
Hit me.
Is the chills you get running down your spine as Moana is facing down the ocean.
Yeah.
And just belts her name, affirms her identity. She's like, I am Moana.
Yeah.
And it just comes from such a strong place. And I remember watching it and going, Jesus, fuck, that's good.
Yes.
And I honestly feel like we're in a second Disney Renaissance at the moment.
Moana certainly kicks off for me, more so than Frozen. Moana is sort of that. Moana and Tangled kind of exist in that vibe for me. Rachel House as Tala, the grandmother, again, one of the best line deliveries in the whole movie.
God, it's so...
It's like, I thought it was just a dream. Nope! Jermaine Clement as Tamatoa. Nicole Scherzinger as Sinner. Don't watch anything behind the scenes of her because it just sort of seems like she just sort of showed up, done it, and then it's like, yeah, that was cool, and then leaves. Which is a shame because I'm sure it was more than that, and I'm sure it meant more than that, but it just sort of, that vibe goes off in the thing. Tamara Morrison, who's always excellent.
Love Tamara Morrison.
As Tui, Moana's dad, chief of the island.
I think...
Tudia, because hey, because of course.
Yeah. doing his Frank Welker thing. I think what this what it's so good.
Shiny, great villain song.
Oh,
Bringing back the villain songs.
um,
To be fair, Mother Knows Best is a great villain song in Tangled, but stuff.
that is
Yeah.
very, very good. It comes closest to, I think, as Charlie said in his email, the lightning in the bottle feeling of Aladdin.
Yeah.
The way that the animation and the performance, the voice performance, is so closely married. Most notably with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but even Dwayne, he's just Dwayne Johnson. Don't have to say The Rock, but also in,
A man who needs no introduction, but two names,
and also in the title character, but also in more vitally important but less prominent characters like Tamura Morrison's Island Chief. The way that the animation portrays the warmth and the concern and his inability to do the right thing because it's what's best for his daughter, because he wants to protect her. That the way that the animation gets those things over, and again, it's more front and center in your star performances. Your Albert Crivello and Dwayne Johnson as Moana and Maui.
Mm.
But it's the closest I think a Disney animated film has come since Robin Williams' Genie and Aladdin to just being such a tight union.
Marriage of every element working together.
Which is why Moana is just head and shoulders among the best Disney have ever put out. It's top 3.
I burst into tears on my first viewing,
It's
as I
top
was saying
3.
before, when that ray, without going into too much, when
God,
that ray hits the water.
God, yeah, it's so beautiful.
And the second time, when Moana confronts Te Kā, and you realise where Te Fiti has been this entire time. Because again, the film doesn't set that up that that's the thing. It's like Te Kā is preventing them from reaching Te Fiti.
Yeah.
And just the way it unravels in that final sort of 20 minutes is so beautiful. I love it. And neither of us have seen Ralph Breaks the Internet. So that brings us up to date before Frozen 2 comes out later this year.
I want to go see Moana again. I want to watch Moana again.
Don't we all? Well, what is the best Disney movie, by our opinion? You'll have to find out next week. We're going to mull it over. We want to know what you think. You may have given your suggestions, but you might have changed your mind after hearing us divulge. So please, ladies and gentlemen, email him, bigdamcontact@gmail.com, and tweet us at bigdamcast. Now, before we go,
yes,
let's sort of put this into a nice little 10-minute sandwich.
10-minute sandwich.
Because we're both very tired boys.
And then, I mean, I could go for longer.
But I've got to do food shopping.
But I've got to do food.
Spoilers for Aladdin 2019.
Aladdin 2019.
But to be honest, most of these spoilers are spoilers for a movie you've all definitely already seen.
Yes. Listen, Aladdin I like. I don't really like it. I quite like the 2019 Aladdin.
I was pleasantly surprised.
And
listeners to the podcast who've not seen our spoiler-free video so far already on it might expect us to rag on it, but the previews didn't do it justice. It isn't amazing,
No.
and it certainly isn't. It hasn't made me go, "Oh wow, you know what movie? You proved me wrong." Everything I expected was in there.
Yeah.
But there was so much more charm, and it mostly came from the moments where it wasn't trying to be a remake of the animated version.
Yes, it really didn't do as much of that as I thought it was going to do. And when it does things like let Will Smith's genie breathe in his relationship with Dahlia and the way he mentors Aladdin.
Yeah.
The film just comes alive.
Yeah.
And it lets everyone, when it's letting everyone play and it's not trying to just do the same thing as before, which is impossible. You cannot replicate Robin Williams' Genie. It doesn't matter how charismatic the person is that you put in that fucking role. You just can't do it. Because Robin Williams was one of a kind. We will not see his like again. But if you want to do a retelling of that story, then you could do a lot worse by getting someone as charismatic as Will Smith and just letting him do his thing.
Yeah.
And it's annoying watching it when they try and force him into the Robin Williams mould. When they just let him do his thing, it just flows. It's like we said in the spoiler-free review. The second act of the movie is where it really sings.
Yeah.
So it's from the Cave of Wonders after Genie turns up.
Well,
all the way through
after the first few shots of Genie turning up. The first few shots of Genie are kind of gross.
You'll have seen the big blue genie in the trailers in the first preview where we were like, oh no! It's really not that bad in the finished product.
It's when the genie is in motion, it's not gross. When it's in sort of like restrained close up of him and moving, that's when it's weird.
But even then, like I just kind of got used to it and was like, oh, actually, this is fine.
This is the genie.
I think
this is him.
him being a magical creature kind of helps your brain gloss over the uncanny valleyness of it a little bit.
Yeah.
With the way they present it. And also they spend a good amount of time as, normal Will Smith. They just spend more time as Big Blue Genie than I thought they would. Especially given the reaction to
the trailers.
The trailer stuff, but I imagine they've already shot most of it ready to do that, or done most of it, so you can't do a Sonic the Hedgehog with it.
It was quite late in the game that we got the first Blue Genie shot. It was like 3 months ago.
But I imagine they would have to, because of the fact that his legs are missing when he's the genie, then I imagine they would have had to have shot a lot of it in a way that would allow for them to that to happen.
Well, there's a lot of shots in this that show decisions made in the edit contradicting what was done on the day in a very jarring way. We mentioned it briefly in the spoiler free, but one jump ahead.
Oh, it's really bad.
Criminally,
it's really bad.
Badly edited. Like it's really badly edited.
And it had me think because it's one of
right down to like 3 shots just being sped up shots. It's gross.
It's really weird.
I remember when people mentioned it.
It doesn't look like it's been sped up though. It looks like it's overcranked because the lip sync is right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So that means that it was recorded slower for those shots, but not for every shot. So I wondered if it was an effects thing and someone just fucked up. Because people had mentioned last week that there was bits where it looks like it's sped up. So I was looking for that almost at first when I watched it. And there's a bit early in the routine where they're singing, where they're moving in very slight slow motion.
Yeah.
But the vocals are to time. So it's like, oh, so they're sort of emphasising the surroundings or the action by doing it slow. So that means that when they recorded it, they were singing it quicker.
Yeah.
Like at, say, -1 speed or whatever. I'm terrible with all that jargon. But like they've done that so that they can speed it up so everything's got a slightly slower thing to it or what have you. Like, okay, that's cool. I get that. Except then it suddenly has a shot where everyone's moving in fast forward.
Yeah, it's really
whilst
weird.
The vocals are set to the track. It's like, what? So that means they had to record that. We then saying it extra slow?
And it was worrying because we'd had Arabian Nights as the opening, which is actually a really good when you get that first swell of music into the first chorus of Arabian Nights, I got a little chill.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it goes the Arabian Night, and it's hello.
No, you put a little bit more flavour on it there than the film version.
Yeah, well, I've got
the film version isn't. That's true. It's true. The film version's an auto-tuned Will Smith going Arabian Nights, like Arabian. It's like okay.
I don't know if it was auto-tuned, but you could do with a bit more vibrato.
A bit. Could have done with a bit more. Put a bit more Dutch on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But I think his singing in this was pretty good, pretty damn good.
Yeah, the Prince Ali clip we've been judging is still
works
it's
better
still
in context.
as bad on its own, and in the film they've not changed it.
No,
but in context it works better.
That's all it needs. All it needs really is it just needs to be like 5-10 BPM quicker. Just to help it pop a bit. It's just too slow to really have that energy behind it.
Which again can work. The Broadway version of Prince Ali is more of a swing number and it is slow. It's like, hey, clear the way in the old bazaar. Hey,
yeah, this isn't swung enough.
It's a brand new stuff. But that's the thing, it's the style. Like, the style of that one is like, I think he comes out in Cab Calloway, kind of like pimp suit, and he's leading this parade that's showing up to the palace. And it works really well. Whereas this version is like, it's a massive frick-off parade. But it just, I don't know. I've got nitpicks. I have things that I really didn't like because like I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
There was stuff I really liked, but the rest of it I was kind of like, One that is a stupid nitpick, but it annoyed me. Touch nothing but the lamp is emphasised so much, and then the treasure room and the climb up to the lamp is covered in shit.
Yes.
And they're touching stuff all the time.
Yes.
But then Abu touches one ruby, and it's like, hang on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the
What?
difference being that he
I could get it
tries
maybe
to-
if they pocketed it.
Yeah, no.
It was like, don't take anything but the lamp. I could get that, but it was touch nothing but the lamp.
This is where me and you differ, because
Yeah.
I am willing to do more mental gymnastics to justify things.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I was thinking about this, because you said it in the screen.
It was the fact that he was going to take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a magical curse.
Yeah.
It knows the difference between you touching something because it's in your way.
Because they make I think it's
want
because
to
I'm
take
thinking of
it.
the animated one, and the animated one,
Yeah.
they literally touch nothing, and then Abu touches that ruby.
Yeah.
And that sets off the chain of events.
But also you can see it reflected in his eyes.
Yeah.
In the way that when they're earlier on, when they are looking at the sapphire necklaces and stuff, and you see them reflected in Aladdin's eyes, and in Abu's eyes before that, and they have to snap each other out of it.
Yeah.
So he's
That's quite funny.
because he's
Abu
not.
just
Yeah.
slaps him on the cheek.
But I thought Abu was really good in this.
I wasn't huge on Abu, but I think it was more the
I thought-
execution.
Yeah.
I think, as weird as it sounds, I think him being a real monkey lost something. I mean, obviously it was a CGI monkey for the majority of the film, but like lost something that the animated one. There was a spark to that animated one that was lost in translation.
The thing with
I mean, even the stage show doesn't try to do a version of Abu. Like it brings
Yeah.
back Aladdin's friends from the original draft
but
of the
it's hard.
script.
That's harder to do on stage.
True, but
without,
they
a
made
dedicated
but they made
puppeteer.
Iago, sort of Jafar's like sniveling little servant and sidekick in the stage show.
Yeah, I suppose.
Iago works fine in this though.
Yeah, it's Alan Tudyk again.
It's Tudyk, yeah. The Tudyk is back,
he is
playing like Gilbert Gottfried's Iago, a sadistic Iago, albeit
Yeah.
one that speaks more in realistic parrot speak this time.
Still says like he's not parroting, he's speaking.
Yeah, but it's
But
obviously
it's-
phrases
yeah.
he's learnt and he gets it. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not sort of going, "Hello, my name is Iago," but he's you know he's saying things that he's probably picked up along the way, but they all completely match. Like what's
I don't know.
happening.
I got the sense
So,
that he is.
rather intelligent.
Yeah, he's intelligent enough to be used, even if he's heard
Well, to
the
be fair,
words
Jafar's
before.
possibly done stuff to him anyway because he
bet he has.
spies for him and gives him information.
Yeah, Jafar has magical powers in this, although I think you were a bit. You were a little concerned that the magical powers were inconsistent.
Yeah,
I didn't feel they were inconsistent. It's just they never really explained the limits of them. So the rules never really came up. So
Whoever has the gold makes the rules.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's you get the sense that he's got some mystical
got some
training,
mojo
learning
going on.
on purpose, but I don't know. Maybe if they'd lent more into his magic, do you know what I mean? It would have been like, okay, like he knows when to use it, he knows when to be selective. But the way it played, it was just kind of like the only times he really used magic was because he did it at the same time in the original.
Yeah.
And this Jafar's got a very different story. In the original, he lusts for power. In this, he does lust for power, but he doesn't realise that he lusts for power. He thinks it's because he wants to lead the noble cause of warring with all the opposing cities because he thinks Agrabah will fall.
Yeah.
But we don't see any evidence of the threat of the outside world.
No, it's all informed, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all told to us by Jafar, who we realise the more it goes on is just lusting for power. So it's like, but huh? Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like we
Yeah.
And there was so many little things, like he can teleport Aladdin to him with the bang of his staff on the floor before he even becomes like a big old. Oh no, it's when he becomes a sorcerer, he can do that.
Yeah.
And yet, when Aladdin and Jasmine fly off with the lamp on the carpet, he has to warg into Iago, make Iago giant, and chase them. When it's like, just bang your staff, dude. Bang your staff. It'll be in front of you.
Maybe you can only do one at a time.
True. I don't know. But then he's not the most powerful sorcerer in the world, is he?
Depends how many people the sorcerers can teleport. Maybe other sorcerers can't teleport people at all.
I did like the. I think the execution of the double bluff to make him screw himself over at the
Yeah,
end was
that was
done
quite
quite
good.
well, even though he's sequel bait screaming. It's like, I'll remember this, I'll get you, Aladdin, all this, it's not sequel, it's more villain thingy, but in a way where it's less definitive than sort of the original version. So it's like, I feel like they did it on, I think they made a conscious decision to make sure he villain ranted.
But it also
so you can do
wasn't
the
that
follow-up.
definitive in the original film, because they had a sequel called The Return of Jafar.
Yeah, but the original film doesn't feel like, oh, maybe he'll come back one day.
No.
It feels like that's the end.
Yeah, it was.
But
they still had a sequel called
Wonders
Return
on
of
a
Jafar.
chill you out.
Yeah, that was quite good.
Will Smith got some nice, hefty, emotional moments.
Yeah.
In this. Like the idea of his freedom and what it meant to be respected and talked to as an individual and not just a slave was
It's like I say,
so
you
well played.
just let Will Smith do his thing as the genie rather than be like, oh yeah, do Robin Williams.
Because Robin had those moments, but he had to do it vocally, and he did such a good job. Will gets to do it completely with his face, and he does. So it's they're quieter moments.
Yeah.
And the bit where he sort of like, well, I mean, no one's ever actually asked me about that
Yeah.
before. And it was like, oh god, yeah, oh okay. You realise how lonely he's been. Also, in this one, he's been in the lamp. He's been not been used for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So this genie's been used more over time than the last. Because the original was like 10,000 years. I'll give you such a crick in the neck.
Yeah.
There's that. His human stuff, the sort of Loki Hitch sequel was great.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't like Hitch.
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
Dahlia's great.
So fucking great.
She's a princess. Oh, aren't they all? Like, the original lines were great. The Prince Ali fucking up his introduction thing. I now get why he's awkward during Prince Ali.
Although he does find his feet through it.
He does find his feet eventually.
Again, it works better in context. He's awkward in that clip.
Better. And the cringe comedy of that scene is so brilliantly played. I think that was the strongest Aladdin was in the film, weirdly.
Yeah.
Which is why I'd like to see him in an action...
Because his pants at the start.
I'd like to see him in an action comedy. I think he fell flat on the romance.
He just fell flat.
But maybe he fell flat just because he was playing opposite the MVP of the film.
Fucking Naomi Scott, man.
She's incredible.
She's so good in this.
She's absolutely brilliant.
Just the power behind the reprise of Speechless, which like so much of the music in the film doesn't really work as music alone, but when it's paired with the visuals, when you see what she's doing with it, just...
You know when movie actors get used to a certain way of delivering things because they think more of film sets?
Yeah.
I get the sense Naomi's, if not theatrically trained, is very theatrically minded. Because
it's just raw
every
emotion.
second she was on screen during the songs, during just little quirky moments, like when she's bullshitting to Aladdin at the top, pretending to be the handmaid and everything. She's acting with her eyes like crazy. She was the most expressive character in the whole film.
It's just the way you see her in the reprise of
Speechless.
In the reprise of Speechless, when her eyes are red.
She acts through the songs. She acts through the songs. Everyone else looks like they're doing the and mime to playback and we'll go
in a way that you don't always see in.
Which when everyone's doing it, like it's just you just take it part and parcel. When everyone's miming, I mean, you just sort of take it part and parcel. You don't think of it, but then when someone's putting that extra level of effort, you know she's emoting and singing her heart out on set during those bits because you can see it. You can see it in her performance. She's incredible. And I want to see more of her in more things going forward because of this movie. So if I can be thankful for this film for anything, it's Naomi Scott hopefully being in more things now, and Speechless.
She's British, by the way, which is probably why the theatrically minded
well there you go.
thing comes from. I think she's probably.
I think we were. If I remember correctly, I think we said that she and Becky G were like the standouts of Power Rangers as well,
possibly
because they were just like incredibly convincing.
She was definitely a standout in Power Rangers.
She go-goed.
She go-goed.
Power Rangers. Carpet's great, as always. I don't know, Jafar just felt like a bit of a damp squib to me, overall. There was some scenes where Jafar's sort of under the surface seething hatred worked really well, but there were plenty of other scenes where it didn't quite work as well.
Yeah. I can't really find much about her training and background.
But I found her address.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into it right now.
Yeah, she's been... Yeah, she's been performing, like... She started in church bands and got spotted for... And signed up for, like, singing stuff, so she's been at it for a while. She's really, really good. She's really good in this. She absolutely shines. And I can't wait to see her in more stuff. Cannot wait. Whereas Mena Massoud, he's done a bit of... He's Egyptian-Canadian. And just... Yeah... Doing bits of TV and bits of TV and bits of TV. But I don't... Whatever spark it was that the team saw in him when they got him for Aladdin, I did not see it on screen.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it.
As weird as it sounds, I think when he was giving them smiles and stuff, I think it was like, oh, he looks like the cartoon brought to life.
Yeah.
That kind of it.
But
like
performance-wise, just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Like you said, Will brought out the best in him.
Yeah. As Will Smith often does.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
That's one of the many things he's good at.
But yeah, as I said in the spoiler free, 3 stars. Like, it was an alright time at the cinema. I'm not going to be buying that one and putting it in the collection anytime soon.
No.
But, I mean, Jungle Book was my favourite of the live action interpretation so far, and I've still not bought that.
It's a solid fine.
Yeah.
It's a solid alright.
It's alright.
And I'm going to
Tonight.
wash it out of my mouth by going and seeing Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Which we'll be talking about
next week.
Welcome, one and all, to the end of the show. If you want to get in touch with us, let us know what you thought about Aladdin 2019, or indeed Godzilla King of the Monsters if you've seen it before we start recording next week, at BigDamnCast on Twitter, bigdamncontact@gmail.com. You can hit us up on the twitch.tv/BigDamnStream, where Matthew, with his eyes and face, will be streaming many a pleasure.
Many a pleasure. What's your pleasure, sir?
Let me take your order. Jot it down. You can also, if you're not already listening on one of the other platforms, catch us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. And until next time...
No, couldn't do it, could you?
I was going to fart.
I haven't eaten enough Chipotle today. Clearly.
I love Chipotle. Chipotle has my life.
Love Chipotle, but tired of the bloodstains in your underwear? Chipotle away!
That's good.
That's awesome.